Introducing PubCoin. PubCoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into PubCoins. PubCoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Pat Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Can-Can. Kenny Can-Can wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Res Mall make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Can-Can, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97 home. That is a way. Here comes Jason Meyer, the Eldorado custodian. Billy Friedrich, Jones one all coming down the finish.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
Get 'em, Jimmy, where low shack at? The bottle's getting empty, I'm the cracking, we stacking. Chips, all of this, what I want, plus money winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated Pub Sports Radio. Time to get educated, who can produce, pay the juice, letting loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call the truth. They get slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and Low Baggers in the chat. That's a little weapon, cause we need, oh yeah, pubbing. We be pubbing!
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, October 11th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We have a great show today. CFL starts it off, NHL after that. Then we have MLB with Jose Bouquett, Daby Cab, and Sharpie. We're going to talk Game 5 Padres Dodgers, and Game 5 tomorrow, Guardians Tigers. And then Wine Time Sports joins Daby Cab and I for 3 games for college football Friday, and then some best bets for Saturday. It was a wild day yesterday. MLB was horrible. NHL was good, 3-2 plus 1.27 units. It's funny. Degenerate Gambler says awful NHL picks yesterday, Jimmy. 3-2 plus 1.27 units. You have to be a degenerate gambler to fuck that up. So I'd love to see how you screwed that up, degenerate gambler, because it takes a special capper to screw that up. It takes I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you screwed that up. It was a very profitable day in NHL for everybody else. I don't know how you messed that up. Truth teller in the house, Kent Davies. Strategic Investments, Chapidora play today for Cleveland cash. Great job. Kent Davies on Vegas -1.5 at plus 136. That makes sense to me. With the late Thursday night show and the 3 shows Thursday, that I stay up late and get up really early and try to prepare, but some of the moves I'm going to have to make with you guys, and NHL kind of took a back seat. Viper NB on Carolina -1 here, leaning over for San Diego LA Dodgers. Billy Friedrich in the house, Dougie Wise. Billy Friedrich, Pig Milk play of the day in the house. A season ticket holder for the Canes on Carolina here. Let's get that copied and pasted in front of our NHL. We start with CFL, and I'll hammer through quick before we get into NHL, but let's get Billy Friedrich's action here and lock that in. Thank you. Beautiful. Gerald Jones, best bet UNLV first half -10.5. Thank you for sharing that with us, Gerald, my man. That copied and pasted and locked in. Billy Friedrich says Canes have won 5 openers in a row going back to 2014-15. They're 7-2-1 in home openers. God, it's a tricky spot there. And I feel like this is just a bit. Is this the same Canes defense that we are so used to at home, holding the opposition down? I don't know if it is. Bo Jackson in the house. Dave Redling. Bo Jackson says, Darvish has a record of 2-0 against NL West in 2024 regular season playoff on the road. Chalky White CFB parlay of the week here. Copy that and paste it. That's just a little under 11-1 on UNLV, Georgia Tech, Rutgers, Ohio State, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Minnesota. That copied and pasted here before. And we're closing with college football. Got the 3 games tonight. And we have the 3 games tomorrow. A Mossman in the house, serious business. Tom Leach ready to get to work. Says, got it. I did back the Guardians last night. It happens, man. It happens. And he says, Coastal Carolina, pathetic. Needed over 60 for the parlay. Yeah, they did nothing. Am I lying in the house? Truth teller, Joey Marinaccio, financially free and focused. Kelly McInnes, Nicholas Handy in the house. Kongs, Clips, Crystal Craig. And we have the stacks play of the day from Justin McKelvey. It is Mookie Betts, who has been absolutely on fire. Really, what a quality baseball player. When games get the biggest, he always steps up. Kyle Hintlian had a huge night in NHL. Absolutely beautiful. Kyle Dougie Wise in the house. Big fat Paulie ready to get to work. Financially free and focused. That Linux play was a thing of beauty. Strategic Investments with statutory. This was a statutory? God, lack of sleep, man. With Chapiadora play of the day, LSU plus 3.5, SEC revenge, says Strategic Investments. Let's get that copied and pasted here. All right, we got Billy Friedrich at 9, Legacy, Al Cervic, Rich H in the house. Big game for the Knuckleheads tonight. The fears we had of goaltending could rear its ugly head here for these Knuckleheads tonight. Nasty Nate also on UNLV first half. Let's roll. Justin McKelvey says, never thought I'd say this, but thank God for hockey. I like that. There's the nuke worker ready to get to work. And Gerald Jones says, who won the race yesterday? Juan Chavez won the race. Juan Chavez won the race. Bob's Mufflers. I can make that easy for you. The teaser for Parlay's 4 legs. What I've tracked, and I've tracked many cappers over the years. For instance, today I tracked Wine Time's NCAA football record of picks on the show, Daby Cab's NCAA football record of picks on the show, Daby Cab's MLB record. I track, and I'm always tracking. And teasers on NFL Pop-Up have an enormously poor ROI, hugely negative. And I've never been a teaser guy. Now, in saying that, the 3-leg teasers and the 4-leg teasers have a higher ROI than the 2-leg teasers, but I do not like betting teasers. It's not my thing. Juan Chavez won. Oh, we didn't win. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Juan Chavez won the race yesterday. So yes, I don't bet any teasers, any. And like, I'm not saying it is the single worst angle on NFL Pop-Up through 4 years by a margin. So but the 3-leg and 4-legs actually have a higher ROI than the 2. Did you bet pleasers? Says Billy Friedrich. Yeah, Bob Mufflers, that's all good because I track and it's painstaking, but it's very helpful. And you notice, Jose Bouquett with a bounce back season. MLB now is a battle, but he's almost at 1,100 bets and he's in the black, and that's very, very difficult. In the offseason, he went over every single angle that he bet last year. What was working, what wasn't working. And it's very, very successful. Nasty Nate says he cashes teasers every week. Nasty Nate, come on. NFL Pop-Up, fix the records of the ROIs. Robert Franklin, want to wish my daughter Zoe a happy 8th birthday. Happy birthday to Robert Franklin's daughter Zoe, 8 years old. That's Ella next year. Wish they would just stop aging. Happy birthday to Zoe, and shout out and love to the Franklin family here. All right, Sportsman of the Year, Lucky Lefty in the house. Boogeyman ready to get to work. Rodney Barton, Philly Eagle Flyer, Kyle Hintley, and Am I Lying? What a great group. It is time to get to work. There is Swiggy in the house. Wine Time Sports will be joining me later. Let's roll. Al Server says he's been winning with 4-point teasers. Important to hear from everybody in the chat about that. It's not just me here, but it is the single worst angle on NFL Pop-Up on Sunday. All right, let's get to work. We head into CFL. Things were running real nice for me for a little while, and that has come to an end. 2 bad weeks in a row. Now I found myself slightly in the red. It is very, very disappointing. Let's get to work. We start Friday, October 11th. Toronto Argonauts at Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Argonauts 8-7, 2-5 on the road. Bombers are 10-6 and 6-2 at home. They've won 8 straight games. They're playing phenomenal football. Princess Auto Stadium in Winnipeg, Manitoba, 53 Fahrenheit clear, 1 mile per hour winds. Let's get into the line history here for this one. I have doubled down on one football game. There's 2 tricky spots, and they include, of course, Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Montreal Alouettes. The difference is, we know that the Bombers are going to win the West, but they haven't clinched it yet. They need one more win to clinch. And this line is moving rapidly, absolutely rapidly towards the Bombers. Rapidly. The 3.5s are gone. We have 4.5s and 5. Shout out to Kyle Hintleyan. Says, this is from my daughter. Oh, Kyle, we love your daughter. Love your family, Kyle Hintleyan. The Hintleyan family. A shout out to you all. What a great group. And, man, I love that relationship you have with your daughter. You guys inspire. Great parenting inspires others to try to be better, and you guys do that, and you do that, Kyle. Love and respect to you, your daughter, and your family, my man. Okay, so we have this big move towards the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This opens up at -3.5. It is now at 4.5. This has come back 5 cents at 4.5, but we still see 5s on the board at other books. We have seen the Argonauts play better and better over the last couple weeks. Now they're coming off a bye. We'll go over all of that. This total is at 49.5. This opened up at 49. It's gone up a half point to 49.5. Newcomer says very hard to step in front of this Bomber train. It's very, very hard. It's very, very hard. But this was sticking around at 3.5 for a long time. A long, long time. Now the move is towards the Bombers. And we've talked about it at this time of the year. The books can sometimes forget about CFL. Maybe that's why it lasted at 3.5 for so long. Both teams are playing their best football. Bombers need one to clinch the West. Argos coming in off their final bye week of the season. The Argos were last seen in their most impressive win to date, 37-31 at home over the defending champion Alouettes. They outgained the Alouettes 517-288. And it brings up two things. So one, they badly beat the Alouettes, except it's a 6-point game. So even when they hold a team to just 288 yards, they still allow 31 points. They've allowed 30 or more in 4 of their last 5 games. They've been dealing with a ton of injuries to their defense, but they're getting healthier. They got Winton McManus back and Jared Brinkman, very, very important to their defense, but they're still missing key parts. And they rank second last in the league in opponents' pass efficiency. The reason why that's so dramatic in this game is because the Bombers are the best in the league. They allow opponents pass efficiency at 83.8. I mean, this defense is very, very good for the Bombers. Another thing about the Argos and what they did against the Owls, which I imagine they'll try to do here, is they ran for 234 yards. Kadeem Carey had 13 carries for 9 yards and a touchdown. He also caught 3 for 49, but Deonta McMahon had 5 carries for 67 yards and a touchdown. Chad Kelly was 19 of 30 for 287 yards, didn't throw a touchdown, and had 1 interception. Makai Polk caught 5 passes for 103 yards. Their offense is humming. They averaged 29.3 points per game with Chad Kelly at quarterback, but nobody is putting up 30 points against the Bombers. And in Winnipeg, the Bombers come in off a very complete 31-10 win at Hamilton. Hamilton was rolling. Their offense was on fire, and they did nothing at home against the Bombers, which leads me towards an under, despite the Bombers unable, even when they allowed 288 yards, the opposition puts up 31 points. Claris was 13-19 for 201 yards and a touchdown. He didn't have to do much because the defense was stifling. Brady Oliveira ran 24 times for 147 yards and a touchdown. That's what we're going to get in this game. We're going to get Brady Oliveira running nonstop at the Argos, and then setting up, play action and setting up, spots where they fill the box to stop Oliveira, and Claris takes advantage. The Bombers defense doesn't allow passing yards. They allow the fewest in the league, 234.6. So we know that then the Argos are going to be running the ball at the Bombers. The Bombers have gone over their team total in 10 of their last 13 games at home. They put up a lot of points at home. I really want this under 49.5. I really want it. Newcomer says Argos clinch a playoff spot with a win as well. Yes, they do. And there's Jim Duiger with the under. It's a very ballsy under, Jim. And I want to join you so badly. I don't want this vividness of, how the Argos just can't help but allow the opposition to put up 30 points. I want to join you so bad, Jim. I really do. And I feel like I've missed the spot on the Bombers. I do. I guess at this point, the only thing you could do with the Bombers is, a double result. Which even that, I'm not sure if I want here. I do expect the Argos to play their absolute best football, which is what they're doing. I would like to have the confidence to move on that under with you, Jim. I just think that's the way these games are going to get. I mean, this playoff type football. I wouldn't mind seeing what the Bombers double result is. Bombers double result minus 105. Is that worth it? It might be. 2 top defenses in yards allowed. Yeah, Jim, but god damn. I mean, the Argos will allow 280 yards and 31 points. Okay, I like where you're at, Jim. I'd like to get there. And then I guess, it didn't surprise me when the Argos stepped up against the Owls, and now they come in off their bye. This is their litmus test. Are we a really good football team? As if we're a really good football team, we can stay in this game against the Bombers. Bombers double result. God, I don't know if I get there. I find that under 49.5 very appealing. That is Friday night's football game here. And I'd like to get there, Jim. And I'm going to put you here in my notes, Jim. So maybe you can give me the confidence. I'd also like to see... I mean, these totals have been skyrocketing, not in Bombers games, but Bombers games at home. We're dealing with 51.5 and 52.5. I wonder if this continues to go up. Irish King looking at Winnipeg team total over 28.5. I don't think the Bombers need to do that. I don't think they need to play that way. I think they can win games 27-14, 27-20. I don't dislike it. Dutch Boy Fresh giving us Maryland first quarter -3 at -120. We are closing our show with college football, so we will discuss all of that here. I'll put that right above strategic investments. Look on LSU. Let's roll on. I will move on this football game, and I will tweet it out when I do. Will it only be the under 49.5, or will I? God, I see the Argos playing their absolute best football in this and still not having enough to beat the Bombers at home. I don't think any team in the league can beat the Bombers at home. Now the Alouettes would have something to say about that. Let's move on to Saturday, October 12th, 3 p.m. Eastern. Edmonton Elks, Calgary Stampeders at McMahon Stadium, Calgary, Alberta, 50 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 7 miles per hour. Worth it. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. That's wonderful to hear. Let's fire away. Thank you, Dutch. Yeah, it was nice. Nice to go up against those primetime unders and smash and grab. We also took a live at 42.5. Felt good, my man. We need you on these live streams, Dutch. Miss capping with you, man. Okay, so let's get to work. Elks Stampeders is next up here. Then we roll into NHL, then MLB, then college football. This total is at 51. I've doubled up on this football game. I know I was a little pensive on that first one, but I've hammered this second one. This total opened up at 51.5 and is now at 51. So we've dropped a half point here. This spread is at +1.5 at -111. This opened up at +1. There's been a half point move to the Calgary Stampeders. When we get to the money line, I think that'll give you a better idea of what's going on in this one. We have the Elks at +105. They opened up at +103, got up to +108, back down to +105. That's the situation here. And I've doubled down on CFL. I'm not 2 games up on CFL. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, of course. Tom Leach, there's VIG. It's what's your average line? It's just VIG. If you hit 50%, generally speaking, in sports gambling, you'll be down. You have to at least 52.4% if you're dealing with -110s to break even. So yeah, my average line's -109, and I'm down 2.13 units, 42 and 40. That's just the life of VIG, and that's why we talk so often about we unite to defeat the juice. It's the juice that's our biggest killer, especially when we talk about quantity of action. Let's get back to this spot here. Double up for me. So first, I want to say that this league has disrespected Trey Ford, and it cost Chris Jones a job. When the Elks played the Bombers off of the bye week, they had 2 weeks to prepare for the best team in the league right now, and they moved with Trey Ford at quarterback, and they lost 27-14 to an excellent Blue Bomber team. And we just watched the Bombers go into Hamilton, beat them 31-10. Trey Ford is the answer for this football team. When he's on the field, they have the number 1 rushing attack by margin in the CFL. When he's off the field, it's such a one-dimensional offense with McLeod Bethel Thompson. We've already seen Chris Jones lose his job because he didn't respect Trey Ford, Heck Crichton winner here in Canada for as Canada's top college football player. We know that Canadian college football is not as respected as our counterparts in America, or even close, because we don't have the scholarships, and our best Canadian athletes go to where the big scholarships are offered. But they're going back to Trey Ford. And you can't look at these Elks season-long stats and, really evaluate them, because they're 2 completely different football teams with McLeod Bethel Thompson, a perennial pedestrian, just as average as you can get, passed around to any team who wants him, whether it be USFL or Arena or CFL. And then you can get blinded by McLeod Bethel Thompson because he throws 50 passes a week. You're going to see times where he puts up massive yards, but generally speaking, over a long period of time, he's going to hurt you. He's just an average quarterback, and there's no running game whatsoever with McLeod Bethel Thompson. You can set up with nickels and dime packages. So these are the 2 worst defenses in the CFL. by far. The Elks allow 7.19 yards per play. The Stamps allow 7.15 yards per play. But I tell you what happens when Trey Ford's at quarterback is their defense is a lot stronger because they're not on the field all game. When you run the ball, maybe it's not the best way to get 10 yards, but it's the best way to give your 330-pound defensive end a break, a rest. So the Elks come in off a 28-24 loss at home to the Roughriders to officially eliminate them from the playoffs. McLeod Bethel Thompson was 33 of 41 for 379 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. We got plays of the day coming in from our cappers here in the chat, and lots of great stuff here. Wow. So let me gotta copy and paste these spots. Ron Crawford, a rolling spreadsheet dog. Play of the day is the Padres. Spreadsheet in hockey's Carolina. So while I'm doing this, let me tell you, I've doubled down on the Elks. I'm on the Elks double result at plus 175, and I'm on the Elks money line at plus 105. Now, Matt Schiltz is starting at quarterback for the Stamps. Will that give them a spark? It certainly gave them a spark in their last game when, Jake Mayer, who looks like he's played his last game in the Calgary Stampeders uniform, threw 2 interceptions, fumbled. The Lions had scored 14 points, one off a interception, one off a fumble recovery in the fourth quarter. But I want to talk more about the Elks. You don't need Curly Gittins to catch 10 passes for 122 yards. Eugene Lewis catching 5 passes for 87 yards. You don't need that. You don't need that to win football games. Look what happened with the Chargers from this year to last year. You control the clock. You control the game. You give your defense a rest. So Edmonton leads the CFL in touchdowns, first down, second at 28.1 points per game. Yes, their points are less when we have Trey Ford at quarterback, but again, they're not a one-dimensional football team. Calgary comes off a 32-15 loss at BC. They played well, but their quarterback just, screwed his team out of the game. Now, we still cashed our under very easily. This defense is good. When Jake Mayer was failing and falling apart, Matthew Schiltz came in 4 or 5 for 99 yards and a touchdown. Now he'll start here. They also signed P.J. Walker. The Stamps have signed P.J. Walker. It'll be interesting to see what he does. But Dedrick Mills is obviously a problem, too. He left in the middle of the year for personal reasons. He returned. He was given 1 carry for 16 yards. His team is falling apart. Action Jackson, I see the Winnipeg Blue Bombers winning the Grey Cup, but I only bet them to get to the Grey Cup. But I know that the Alouettes Bombers, if we get that matchup, will be absolutely a thing of beauty, and that the Alouettes can win the Grey Cup. So that's where we stand. I doubled up on this one. I am on the Elks money line at plus 105, and I'm on the Elks double result. Now, another thing that we could do is move on this under. If you're judging these statistics by what the Elks do offensively with Bethel Thompson quarterback, maybe that's the bet. It's still a 51.5 at 365. I might, it's going to not be a fun afternoon tripling up on this game, but I think I add the under 51.5 in this one. Now, yeah, I do. I think I do, because Calgary's defense is playing well. That's not their problem. And we know that things change with the Elks. So, again, I'm on the double result already, and I think I'll bet this under soon. Pinnacle's already moved it, and but double up spot for me. All right, let's roll on. Let's roll. Next up for 7 p.m. Eastern, BC Lions 8-8, 3-5 on the road at Saskatchewan Roughriders 8-7 and 1, 4-3 at home at Mosaic Stadium in Regina, Saskatchewan, 51 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 14 miles per hour. We only have 2 games left before we get into NHL, so we're going to move quickly, and then we got a big boy sports for you guys. On the money line, the Roughriders are minus 124 right now. They opened up at minus 107. And while this line moved towards Saskatchewan, I didn't agree. And I've changed my mind after sitting with this game and capping it. This totals at 50.5, minus 108 to the over. Now it's minus 111 to the over. Nice job, Irish King. I love to hear it. We'll be getting an NHL here very soon. So the lines come in. Oh, sorry. What the hell am I doing? Here we go. The lines coming off 32-15 win at home over the Stamps. The score masked the difficulty the Lions continue to have on offense. Their points were all off turnovers. They did not score an offensive touchdown. If they can't score an offensive touchdown at home against the Stamps, how are they going to score at Mosaic Stadium in Regina, Saskatchewan? Also, 14-mile-per-hour winds. It's 51 Fahrenheit. And I knew that this was a high-wind game, and I thought that would benefit William Stanback and the BC Lions. And I'll tell you how I've changed my tune. Nathan Rourke was 20-24 for 218 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He's in his head, but he doesn't have the offensive weapons at wide receiver, and we've been talking about that all year. Keon Hatcher caught 6 passes for 97 yards. No one else caught for more than 37. You have Sean White going 6 for 6 for field goals. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an offer from the NFL at some point. Now, he is old, but he's just so good. Roughriders coming off a 28-24 victory at Edmonton. Trevor Harris was 22 of 28 for 358 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Frankie Hickson started at running back with the injuries to Ouellette and Rocky Armstead. The good news, Ouellette is available for this. And if you honestly, and I'm sure that, and I'd love actually to hear from other, cappers, but if you were to offer me one running back, healthy, Stanback or AJ Ouellette, I take AJ Ouellette. He's so tough. He continues to run right at the teeth of the defense, just like Brady Oliveira. MLS caught 4 catches for 126 yards and a touchdown. Keyshawn Johnson caught 5 for 103 yards and a touchdown. Their offense is humming. Goran Ninkowski, thank you so much for the $5 dono. All his actions here, and he's on the Blue Bombers and Roughriders money line. So I have flipped. Generally, it's not something I do. I would just stay off. But I think this is a legitimate outcome here. And again, I was trying to plan how to bet the Lions all week. This is my plan. This is what I think could happen. I think the Lions go into Saskatchewan and lose. And if they lose badly, we get Vernon Adams at quarterback for the BC Lions next week. And I'm surprised that it's not Vernon Adams at quarterback this week, honestly. I'm surprised they're not trying. Now, maybe they're saying, well, we'll just be throwing Vernon Adams to the Wolves. And maybe they don't want to do that. But I don't know how they can keep going with Rourke here. I don't. And if they lose here, then maybe we get Vernon Adams on the way back. So there we go. I'm going to add the Roughriders money line. And I think I might even add Roughriders double result after talking out with you guys. Now, what could happen? They could be losing badly. Vernon Adams comes in and changes everything. So we shall see. All right. Let's roll. Let's roll on to our final game before we get into NHL here. Monday, October 14th. It is Canadian Thanksgiving this weekend. 1 p.m. Eastern, Ottawa Redblacks 8-6-1, 2-5 on the road. Montreal Alouettes 11-3-1, 5-2 at home. Percival Molson Memorial Stadium in Montreal, Quebec. It's rain in the forecast, 43 Fahrenheit and rain, 7 miles per hour. Ottawa comes in off their bye week, and the big question here, as they've looked so bad of late, they were last seeing 29-16 loss at Saskatchewan, their third straight loss, is Masoli going to be starting at quarterback? Because Drew Brown has been a minimal participant right now. And that's a big difference if they can get Drew Brown in the lineup, because the Owls have clinched the East. I don't see why we wouldn't want to be on the Redblacks. Maybe if Masoli's at quarterback, but definitely if Drew Brown is at quarterback. Their running game is taking a step back after cutting Rocky Armstead. They bring in Kalen LeBourne. He ran 8 times for 42 yards, caught 6 passes for 41 yards, but he's already been cut by the Elks and the Argos this year, and he was on the Redblacks practice roster for a while. You can't expect him to deliver. Justin Hardy looking very good. He caught 5 passes for 111 yards, but the Owls also come off their bye week. Do they want this one last big win before they kind of shut it down? Now, we watched what happened when the Argos shut it down last year. They immediately lost in the East final. So do they not want to do that because of how bad the Argos looked? The Owls have been beating up the Redblacks. I mean, the 4 straight times they faced them, double-digit wins, an average margin of victory of 20. But they've already clinched the East. Cody Fajardo was absent from practice this week. His wife gave birth to their second child. He's going to be good to go on Monday. Or could they rest him? I mean, we need to find more out here about do the Alouettes care? And I think the market will help indicate whether they do or not. So Fajardo was 28-29 for 225 yards, 2 touchdowns, interception. No one else caught for more than 40 yards other than Cole Speaker. So I need more information on the Redblacks Alouettes game on Monday. And again, I want to know, is Drew Brown going to play? Because I kind of think he is. And then if we get any kind of line movement towards the Redblacks, we know that Montreal doesn't care. Let's just take one quick look here before we get into NHL on the line moves for this game on Monday. Total at 48.5. It's not moving at all. Not moved a cent. And the spread is at 4.5. Alouettes are minus 108. This hasn't moved a cent. It had, though. It's moved back. It's actually moved back. But that was 3 days ago. It moved 9 cents back. Something tells me, and I think I should move on this. Something tells me that this is not an important. I mean, something tells me. Let's just be ridiculous. They've clinched first. So why wouldn't we be on the Redblacks, who need this game so badly in the race for the home field advantage in the divisional game? I don't see why that wouldn't be. Action Jack says the psychology of it is they've clinched the playoffs. So they either don't care about losing this game or can win without trying because of no pressure. You're absolutely right, Action Jackson. So which one do you think it is? I'd love to hear it. I think I move on Ottawa now. I think I want them in my pocket at plus 4.5, honestly. Newgler says, are you on the Owls this weekend? I did text our friend Slatsy. I wanted to know if he thought they cared. So this is what I plan to do. I plan to add Ottawa plus 4.5, Roughriders money line, Roughriders double result. And the under, God, I'm going to have a lot of CFL action. And the under 51.5 in Elks stamps. But I get it. You find angles, you want to hammer it. And then should I add the under 49.5 in this Bombers game? I might get there with Jim Duwiger. So there we go. That is CFL for week 19. Just 2 more weeks of regular season Canadian football. Let's roll on. We have more action coming in from Cappers in the chat. Utah State first quarter minus a half. I'm going to copy and paste that. Put that right under Dutch's Maryland first quarter. Thank you guys for sharing all of your action. And we roll on. We roll on into the National Hockey League. It got off on the wrong foot with those 2 bets on the Sabres in the Global Series. Uncomfortable. I got almost all of it back by live betting the Devils down 1-0 in the second game, which I told you I've never done before, but I hated watching the Sabres play, and we saw it again last night in that 3-1 loss. But it was good. Last night was good enough. There was, look, 1 goal away in overtime from a really nice night, a really big night. But we go 3-2 plus 1.27 units, and we'll take it. We cashed the Bruins puck line minus 103. We cashed Sharks first period at plus 127. That was our big score. Then the Islanders minus 1. I guess the Utah Hockey Club just shouldn't be faded with the young talent. Gunther playing the way he is, of course. Canucks traded that draft pick. Now, who knows if the Canucks would have picked him 8th overall. But that was the Oliver Ekman Larson Connor Garland trade that's going to haunt us forever. The mistake was Panthers minus 1. I didn't know what Yolmark was going to do here. And I had somebody message me put on Twitter, surprised you made that pick. Panthers off raising their banner 2 nights before, then having to travel to Ottawa. I don't know what Ottawa is this year. And is Yolmark the answer in goal? Well, I took the under 6.5, and he sure looked like the answer in goal. He looked very, very good. But clearly the Panthers minus 1 was a mistake. If the Islanders score that overtime goal, we're sitting here 3-1. We're in the black. It would be great. So we're just that close to the black. Let's roll. Rich H put that out as well. The Gunther trade. Rich H, great Vancouver Canucks fan. There's occupancy in the house. And Ricky Levine says, was driving home from Oregon yesterday. I heard you bagging on Kings goalie Darcy Kemper. I think he does good. Kings are a more defensive-minded team, allow lesser quality shots. Okay, Ricky, I bet you his save percentage is under 903. Under 903. That's my guess, Ricky. We can see. And that's bad. All right, let's roll. We roll into the National Hockey League off of a good night. And our first, full capping night of the season. Let's start with Billy Friedrich, Pig Milk Play of the Day, boots on the ground. He's a season ticket holder for the Hurricanes, and he is on the Carolina Hurricanes money line. Says they've won 5 straight openers in a row, going back to 2014, 15, 7-2-1 in these openers. There's some questions with the Lightning, and Jake Gensel is banged up, and he is their prize offseason acquisition. Luke Glendening is banged up as well, and Morgan Geekie as well. The Jake Gensel injury news is key, very, very key to this. If Jake Gensel is not in the lineup, I would have interest in our patented Hurricanes unders at home. But we need to know if he's good to go. So let's get the latest info right now on Jake Gensel. And just missing practice. But they're saying it's nothing to worry about. I think Gensel is in the lineup for this one. And you guys know I'm high on the Lightning. I've taken them over 98.5 points. I've taken them to win the division at plus 450, and I've taken them to win the East plus 900. Billy Friedrich says, Tampa Bay, if any team will be thinking about home and their families, the game tomorrow in Tampa Bay is already canceled. That is absolutely true. And that is an absolutely fair spot. Absolutely fair spot. But Ricky, I'll make that bet. 903. I almost gave you 905, but I was like, I'll give you 903 if you want, but that's up to you. Vasilevsky versus Freddie Anderson in net. Vasilevsky was bad last year. That's a big question mark around this Lightning team, where he's the best goalie of our generation. Is he going to continue to be, or is that being handed off to Shesterkin? This first line, Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, and Jake Gensel, I believe will be the highest scoring line in the National Hockey League. And that's saying a lot. There's some incredible lines out there. Hagel, Cirelli, and Nicholas Paul. I really like that line. I think it's a hybrid 2-3 line. Glendening, Chaffee, and Jurgensen on the third line. Not that strong, but what's Cam Atkinson going to do with this Connor Sheary? It's kind of a fun fourth line. They have Victor Hedman, and JJ Moser is a huge piece of this puzzle. How good is he going to be? They bring back Ryan McDonough. I like that, even though I'm not a huge, you can't play him 20 minutes a game, which they might. And Slatsy says Gensel at morning practice looks good to go. So let's move over to these Carolina Panthers. Freddie Anderson was dealing with injuries all last year. 13-2-0, 1.84 goals against average, 932 save percentage, 3 shutouts. Let's move over to the Hurricane roster, because it sure would look better with Jake Gensel on left wing and not Jack Roslovic. Even though Jack Roslovic is a decent player, I don't think he's a top 6 forward. Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis. They need Seth Jarvis's breakout year, and Kotkaniemi on the second line center. He needs to prove that he's a top 6 forward in the NHL, which he's capable of, and they've given him Andrei Svechnikov on his wing. And Natchez. I had Natchez in the pool last year, and frankly, he disappointed me. I thought he was capable of more. The third line might be your best third line in hockey. Jordan Martinook, Jordan Stahl, and William Carrier. I mean, that's just a line that's calling for the playoffs. And then their fourth line has a lot to prove with Robinson, Drury, and Blake. On defense, Slavin and Burns, Orlov and Chatfield, Walker and Ghost. I get, Ghost had a huge year last year as a power play specialist. You don't want him to play more than 14 minutes, 15 minutes a game. Orlov is quality and Chatfield's good. Can Brent Burns be a number 1 defenseman now at his age? I find it hard to believe. I know he's a big character guy, but I don't know if you want him as a first line defenseman. I honestly think that this team is worse than they were last year, but they're going to have consistency in net, which may make them better. Okay, Ricky, we're on. We are on 903 save percentage. Now he needs to play what? At least, what should the minimum games be? 40? 40 to make it count? Put this in with Ricky. And we'll deal with American currency, Ricky. 903 save percentage. Give me the amount of games you think should make it legit. Probably 40. Okay, so let's take a look at this line history here and decide how we want to handle. And you know what? I guess the problem with me here is that I'm so high on the Lightning that I find it extremely difficult to fade them. But I think that you are right. I think that Carolina, angry at Gensel for spurning them in the offseason, 6-cent move towards Carolina. Obviously, Tampa concerned about what's going on at home. And tomorrow's game canceled, other things on their mind. I think that you are right. I think the pig milk play today is right. Now, I would have to take it on the -1 line, but I do. I think you are right. I truly do here. So I think I will roll with you here, which isn't something I wanted to do. But I guess Gensel coming back from injury, the anger that, he didn't re-sign with the Hurricanes. And then you have Tampa Bay dealing with all these extra things. And then I guess what Billy Friedrich is saying is this isn't psychologically going to say we're playing for our city. I want to see, before I bet this, I want to hear quotes from them. Because if they're like, if we're going to play for our city, which I don't know if anyone's heard any of that stuff, that would change things. So I want to hear some interviews for the Lightning. Before I move on, that's what I'll do. And with Gensel in, I don't want to take the under 6. And I want to see if we can go back to that well of unders in Carolina. Let's roll on to the next spot on the board, 8 p.m. Eastern, Chicago Blackhawks at the Winnipeg Jets Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba. We have Arvid Soderblom listed because the Blackhawks are on the first of a back-to-back. Ron Crawford, NHL play of the day is Carolina as well. I have you right in between my CFL action. So we'll have your spreadsheet play of the day too. 40 games good. Okay, let's do it, Ricky. Let's do it, my man. Okay. So back to this spot here. We have a Blackhawks team that's not good defensively with that high octane center of their first line, the number 1 overall pick out of North Shore Winter Club in Vancouver, Connor Bedard. But, Foligno adds truculence, but come on, Teravainen, Bedard, they're not defensive players, and they're not defensively responsible. Now, Tyler Bertuzzi can be, but he draws gets called for bad penalties. Kurashev, the jury's out, and Taylor Hall coming back from injury is hard for me to believe that he can deliver. Jason Dickinson's a fine third-line player, and Ilya Mikheyev, if he's healthy, he can be really good. You have Pat Maroon on the fourth line, on the line with Andreas Athanasiou. That's just, oil and water. Andreas Athanasiou is the fastest skater on the ice, and Pat Maroon is so slow. I just don't know how this line with Donato and Maroon and Athanasiou is going to work. Alec Martinez moving over to the team helps because Seth Jones has been such a problem. Vlasic and Brody, Murphy and Allen as your second and third defensive pairs are very weak, and it's impossible for us to believe that Mrazek is going to have the kind of season he had last year. So we have Winnipeg coming off this 6-0 dominant win at Edmonton, which means that I don't want them here. But I tell you what I do want. I want the over. I want the over in Chicago Blackhawk games. I expect these 6s that we see right now will all be 6.5s. This also moved down to 5.5 for a while. So I'm going against the market in this. And the Winnipeg Jets at home with Connor Hellebuck in net, coming off a shutout, you could say, look, they're just going to shut down the Blackhawks like they did to the Oilers. I don't believe that is the case here. And I don't, look, we know what Hellebuck is, and we know what this Jets team is. They have consistency, and that is such an important thing in the NHL. That's why, the Nashville Predator futures are probably best bet next year. Unfortunately, their stars that have come in, March or so and Stamkos are so old that might not work. Maybe you move on them in the second half of the season or something of that nature. Look, Scheifele, Connor, and Viardi are excellent. And Nemesnikov still has to prove that he's a second-line center, but Cole Perfetti has a very high upside. I know he was a healthy scratch a lot down the stretch last year, but Nikolai Ehlers is the scorer on that line. And then you want to talk about best third lines in hockey. Appleton, Lowry, and Niederreiter would be right at the very top of anybody's list. And Josh Morrissey will be a perennial Norris Trophy candidate. And they have a perennial Vezina Trophy candidate in that. I'm moving on the over 6. And I think I should bet this. Now, I understand Winnipeg's defense. Look, I get it. But the Blackhawks just don't play that kind of hockey, and they just need. Now you could say the same thing with the Oilers. They just need that split second, but the Oilers started slow last year, lost 8-0 in their first game as well. My dude says, "No, Johnny, I'm not. I don't think it helps me because Johnny, in hockey, we're dealing with a much smaller market. You can get a sense of where the money is or where the right is just from the line moves." But on the money line, pros are not going to bet a big favorite. They're only going to bet dogs. So you're always going to see the money on the dog. And I don't want that to lead me to more dogs than necessary, although we want to move in that direction. And for the totals, it's never we're not talking about 200,000 tickets here. The books are not worried about destroying the NHL cappers. They're worried about destroying the NFL cappers because you're getting 50 times, 100 times the bets. So, Swiggy says Chicago's winning last year off Pete Mrazek goaltending. They sure were. You think he's going to follow that up? I've watched him his whole career. I believe that was an outlier season, but we shall see. And Johnny Guns, I don't know if it makes sense. It's just something that has worked with me here. Yes, Rem Most. Yes, I do. This was Sonny got married in Hawaii. He's Sikh, and in the Sikh culture, they do a ceremony the night before in their Sikh wardrobe. It's pretty nice, pretty cool, man. They care about their culture so much, and they put one of these around everybody's wrist, and you're supposed to wear it until it falls off. And so I will follow suit. Okay, I'm going to be on the over 6 in Chicago, Winnipeg. Let's move on to 10 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Flyers at Vancouver Canucks, Rogers Arena in Vancouver, BC. Canucks coming off a 6-5 overtime loss to the hated Flames at home. They were up 4-1 after the first period, and it all fell apart. They're going back with Shilovs here, and I worry for him. I really worry for Artur Shilovs, who was so great in goal. So great in goal he still had just a 900 save percentage, but he gave some consistency to the goaltending in the playoffs. Nordy says, let's go Flyers. Joe Todero in the house, planted flag fighter of the week. Jared Night Train Gooden, 6 in a row. Joe Todero's hit 6 in a row, and he comes in every week and gives us his planted flag fighter of the week. What a monster you are, Joe. Thank you. Big part of our locker room podcast. There's our guy Mills in the house saying Bedard over 2.5 shots on goal. So back to this Flyers spot. Flyers are on the first half of a back-to-back. The one thing about Torts, there's a couple things. As much as he's, like a old school dictator, he has this softness about him that's so strange, that doesn't fit his character. He's such a dick, but he loves dogs more than anything in the world, loves them more than humans. It's a character trait that you wouldn't expect from Torts. Another thing is that he has compassion, and it's hard to believe because he doesn't have it with his hockey players. He doesn't have it with his young hockey players. But he brought in Johnny Goodrow's dad, Dennis, to as like a helper, assistant coach through training camp, and forget those character traits. The one thing we know about Tortorella and these old school dictator type coaches is they have their teams ready in game one, like Rick Tocchet, Tortorella. They have an expectation of a certain level of fitness that's higher than other coaches. Now, he is starting with Samuel Ersson in net, and he could get hurt. And this Canucks team is an angry group. They're an angry group. This total also opened up at 6. One thing about me is I'm not an over better. I look for unders. I feel more comfortable with unders. I feel easy. It's easier to predict, clean, a very clean game in any sport. If you know the team well, I just find it an easier angle. Slash here, Michkov over a half point at +110 looked great in preseason on the first line and the first power play. Philly Eagle Flyer on the under 5.5, first period draw, and first period under 1.5. I do not think with these two goaltenders that you're capable of cashing unders. I fear for Shilovs. This is a tough city, and you have this, second runner-up in the Vezina Trophy who may or may not be able to play this year. This Canucks team is just high octane. They bring in Heinen for some defensive responsibility with JT Miller and Brock Besser, but JT Miller is defensively responsible. He's a phenomenal player. You put Sprong up on that line with Pedersen and DeBrusque because Atu Ratu and Connor Garland. Now Pia Suter might be hurt, but they can put Nils Hoglander there. That's not the third line that you want. I mean, that's not a playoff third line. It's too offensive. They'll figure that out. And obviously Dakota Joshua coming back is a big piece of that. The defense is extremely strong. You have giants back there and Myers and Susie and Forbort. It's impressive. I think that this team is going to be able to score at will. The problem is Lankin and Shilovs are going to get lit up. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Samuel Urson is the answer in net for the Flyers, although he did, step up at times last year. Michkov, Couturier, and Konechny. Michkov and Konechny, nice offensive players, and Couturier very responsible. Tippett, Frost, and Forster is a good second line. Now they've got a lot to prove, and Bobby Brink and Joel Farabee can slide up there if need be. And on defense, they have a ton to prove. Drysdale, I think, can be very good. He's going to need to be. Sanheim and York is the first pair, and Drysdale with Zamula. Look, I think this is another over 6, and I'm just not. Again, I'm not somebody who's looking to bet these overs, but I think this is an over 6. I also think that I should move on these two overs now, even though the Blackhawks Winnipeg over 6 is not moving. So let's move on to our final spot on the board. Blues Knights T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Blues on the second half of a back-to-back, winning 5-4 in overtime last night versus the Sharks. I don't want to back a Golden Knight team on a puck line after they score 8 goals and 8-4 win against, their hated Colorado Avalanche. But I don't see how we don't at this point. This line is just moving and moving and moving towards the – wow, did it move back? Wow, no, I guess I thought it moved earlier, but it didn't move until 10:30 a.m. minus 215, a huge 17-cent move. I feel like this is very similar to our Bruins puck line last night. The Blues are sitting here 2-0. They take out the Kraken in their home opener. They take out the Sharks in their home opener. Now they're on the second half and back-to-back. Now they do have Binnington ready to go, but I will challenge them to once again rise to the occasion. Kyle Hintley in Vegas in regulation here. Billy Friedrich going to live bet the Blues if they go down 1. I get that. Yes, Malik Neighbors out, but we are okay. Giants money line bettors. I hear you going. And thank you so much for the dono, my man. So Sportsman of the Year, Canucks minus a half first period, a plus 145. I get that look as well. Our guy DC Capper coming off a big night. I love to see it, DC. Michkov over a half point. So this is what I'm going to do. There's Ick Schnizzle in the house. Padres over 8. UNLV minus 18.5 and over 66.5 for Icky. And a huge bet for Kyle Hintley and with Vegas in regulation. I'm going to take him on the puck line here. But I understand the regulation look very much. And I'm going to see, I guess I'll take a look at the difference in that. But I would like to get these bets in now. And I will have the opportunity to do that here. Let's just touch on the total in this Vegas St. Louis Blues hockey game. We have this total at 6.5. We have this total at 6 minus 111 to the over. This did get up to 6.5 at 9:30 a.m. and it came back. Not only did it came back, but once it got to 6, it started moving back to the under. We still have 7 cents of movement on the over. I imagine that the Golden Knights were hammered by their coach after the game. Yes, you win 8-4, but they played sloppy and made mistakes. Now their offense is high octane. So, I get that. But I truly I think that they're going to play a tighter game. And the Blues must be worried about fighting fire with fire. And when you're on the second half of a back-to-back, you take shorter shifts. Take shorter shifts. And And it's more dump and chase and make sure that you have 3 back. And I expect the Blues to play that way here. So I'm going to take Vegas on the puck line to finish this crazy run that the Blues have gone on, defeating the Kraken in their home opener and defeating the Sharks in their home opener. Those are the 3 spots for me. I'm thankful to have talked it out with you guys, and I'm going to get those bets in right now. It is time to talk Major League Baseball. It is time to switch gears, and we have a great group of cappers. I got crushed yesterday in MLB. It was extremely disappointing. We had climbed all the way back to start feeling better about ourselves, and then I just take it right in the bottom mouth. Everything that went wrong could go wrong, and it sucked because we had a huge night in NFL and a winning night in NHL, and then I got hurt in baseball badly, and I got hurt in WNBA. You can't seem to put it all together right now. I can't seem to have all the sports rolling in the same time, and I hope that we can do that. And I'd like to bounce back here. We are going to be talking tonight's giant baseball game and tomorrow's huge baseball game. So let's begin by welcoming our panel for MLB. First, my co-host here on Betting with the Bag, star of all things baseball here on Pub Sports Radio, coming to us from San Antonio, Texas, home of our Alamo Card Show that we are a big part of. If anybody out there looking to make some moves in the sports card market, we will have our own table there as well. We will be shooting live. If anybody interested in having their own table, please hit that email on the bottom of the screen and join us. We will be shooting live. We're going to be a big part of the Alamo Card Show. So anybody in Texas or in the area, please join us at the Alamo Card Show. And then we have a trade night at the Break Room. That's at 6:30 p.m. as well. It's going to be a big weekend there for the Alamo Card Show. So please support us with what we're doing over at the Alamo Card Show. And welcome our first guest, home of the Pub Sports Radio studio at the Southtown 101, best bar in Texas. Please welcome our friend, Jose Bouquett, to the telecast. Jose, how are you?
Hear ye, hear ye.
Oh, Jesus.
It's nice to see everyone. It's nice to see everyone on a Friday afternoon. Hear ye. It's nice to see everyone. Hello. It's nice to see you, Jimmy. Hello.
Wow. I fear you're not taking these 2 playoff games as seriously as we are, Jose.
I couldn't say why. I'm just in the Halloween spirit.
Okay. No, okay. Okay. Sure. And you didn't take it in the drink hole as bad as I did yesterday. So
I definitely went 0-1, so it wasn't a fun night, but
no,
yes.
it was not. Let's bring in our next guest. He is the star of Medicate Mondays every Monday at 11:10 a.m. He is also the star of the Tailgate every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, coming to us from Dallas, Texas. Please welcome Daby Cab to the show. Daby, how are you?
Oh, man, Padres, Dodgers, Game 5. I mean, shit. This is if you love sports, if you're romantic about sports, I don't see if it gets any better than this.
It doesn't. And even Guardians Tigers is, such an old rivalry. It's magic as well. They both are very, very fun Game 5s to reach the championship series. ALCS, NLCS on the line. Jim Dewey loving the outfits from our Jose Bouquett. Let's bring on our next guest. Make the Foursquare complete. The star of the Odds Bunch YouTube channel and a huge part of our channel here on Pub Sports Radio. Please welcome the man known for the Black Book. And what's inside that Black Book? Everybody wants to know. Pitcher prop extraordinaire, our friend Sharpie, to the show. Sharpie, how are you? You muted you didn't have your mic down. That's it.
Yeah, I'm just pissed off still, when you bet shit, you shouldn't bet. I didn't have a bet going into that fucking Bybee game. I talked about how Vogt's been one of the most asinine fucking managers of this season. And what do? I bet that he's not going to be asinine in that game. But at least Garrett Cole did what I thought Garrett Cole was going to do. But we're on to today. And dare I say the wrong team's favor?
I look forward to talking about these games with you, Sharpie. And I wish that I had have taken the Yankees first 5 minus a half instead of the over after your breakdown. Very disappointing. It is great to see you, fellas. Let's get to work. We start with game 5 of the NLDS. The San Diego Padres 93-69, 48-33 on the road at the LA Dodgers 98-64, 52-29 at home. This game also falls on the Stacks play of the day. Stacks play of the day. A man stepping up in the most important times, something he's well known for. Mookie Betts over 1.5 bases at plus 114 for our guy Stacks.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Let's get to work here. We will start with the weather this evening. This game goes off at 8:08 p.m. Eastern, 5:08 p.m. Pacific, 74 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 7.2 miles per hour out to right field, and the wind dies down as the game goes on. Within an hour, it's at 5.4. Within 2 hours, it's at 3.6. If it goes to 3 hours, it's at 2.7. So don't get caught up in the wind blowing out. A shout out to our guy, Billy Friedrich, gifting 5 Pub Sports Radio memberships. Thank you, Billy. Those of you who are now members can rock with us on our Cappers contest show on Thursdays and help us vote on our Circa Millions card. Thank you so much, Billy Friedrich. You are the man. There's Dexter Pope in the house. Dexter Pope wasn't in our last poker tournament, and I came second because he wasn't there. And it was nice. Nice not having him take us all out. Our guy Dexter Pope, nice to see you. Let's go here. Padres, Dodgers. Let's get into this line history first and foremost and the cash flow. And then we will roll into X's and O's with our panel. First off, the money line. We've already heard Sharpie say, dare I say the wrong team is favored. Yamamoto and the Dodgers are at minus 140, and this line is moving towards them now. They are now. It was also earlier. So the line came out and there was a move towards the Padres, very slight. And then at 6:42 this morning, Eastern, this got up to minus 146. That was the high water mark. It's now at minus 140. We've still had 7 cents of movement at Pinnacle towards these Dodgers. Then we have a total of 8, minus 107 to the under. This has dropped down to 7.5 several times, and each time it's been bet back up to 8. Still, we have at 8, 7 cents of movement to the over at this point because this opened up plus 102 to the over. It's now minus 105 to the over. So we still have had 7 cents of movement to the over. Let's take a look at the cash flow here for this one and see where the money lies. Here we go. We have over to MLB. Sorry, I had college up. We have 19% of the tickets on the Padres and 75% of the cash. It's surprising that just 1 out of every 5 tickets is coming in on the Padres. 26,677 tickets in, and 1 of every 5 on the Padres, but 3/4 of the cash on those Padres. On the total, 80% of the tickets and 79% of cash on the over. Wager detective leaning towards the Padres. My dude is play of the day is Tatis Jr. over 1.5 hits at minus 130. So we have Yu Darvish going up against Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yu Darvish, a known Dodgers killer, was 7-3 with a 3.31 ERA and a 1.07 WHIP in just 81 2/3 innings this year, which means that there's no arm fatigue whatsoever with him. His last start, that 10-2 win at the Dodgers, he was excellent. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, and 2 walks. All year long on the road, he's been very good. 4-0, 2.63 ERA, 198 opponents batting average, 25 Ks and 7 walks over 27 1/3. Did allow 4 home runs. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 7-2, 3 ERA, 1.11 WHIP, 90 innings. Another pitcher who battled injuries this year and is not dealing with arm fatigue, but he sure got lit up and smoked in that 7-5 win at home versus the Padres. 3 innings, 5 earned runs, 1 homer, 1 K, 2 walks. And when we look at what he did at home, he was quite a bit worse than he was on the road. Now, the sample size not enormous, 46 in the third innings, but 3-1, 3.88 ERA, 9 walks, 55 Ks, which is nice, 5 homers, and a 250 opponent's batting average. When we take a look at these teams, unlike the American League, these teams were not only hitting in September, but they were hitting in the playoffs. Padres versus righties, 263, 767 in September. In the playoffs, 243, 795. The Dodgers against righties were even better, 272 in September with an 815 OPS. In the playoffs, a little bit worse, 243, 726 OPS. These bullpens are pitching very well. Padres bullpen was pitching excellent in September, 3.06 ERA, 1.14 whip. They've carried that over into the playoffs with similar numbers, 2.84 ERA, 1.14 whip. The Dodgers bullpen was very strong in September, 3.51 ERA, 1.22 whip. And in the playoffs, 2.66 ERA, 1.13 whip. We will start with Jose and go through to Sharpie. And then in the ALDS Guardians Tigers, we will start with Sharpie and head over to Jose. Jose, take it away. The Game 5 Padres Dodgers to meet the Mets in what will be an incredible NLCS. Take it away.
Yeah, first matchup of two Japanese pitchers in the postseason ever. Shohei Ohtani basically told Dave Roberts to make this happen. Shohei Ohtani looks up to Yu Darvish as his hero. I'm sure Yamamoto feels very similarly. Yu Darvish is the greatest Japanese pitcher and Japanese American come over the major leagues ever. This is going to be a fun matchup. And the scary part is this line is moving towards the Dodgers with, all those big bets, it seems like, on the Padres. And, that's what kind of has me off this game. I want to bet the Padres. I kind of do. But I don't know. I think Yu Darvish shows up here in a big game. I think Yamamoto comes in, and I don't know if he's ready. I just don't know if he's ready for this moment. It's going to be fun to watch. And you see all the big games in the WBC. Yu Darvish is there for Japan. So I'm just very excited to watch this game. I have no bet on the side yet, but isn't it interesting that you mentioned on a total 80% of the bets, 80% of the money essentially on the over? We've gone from a 7.5 to an 8, and it feels like this should be a low-scoring closeout kind of ball game. Here, both teams try not to fuck it up. They go to their bullpens maybe a little earlier than expected. I don't know. I leaned under in this game, but I don't have any bets on this game so far. I want to hear what you guys have to say as well, but I definitely lean Padres and under.
I don't know how you could lean otherwise, honestly, than Padres and under. I completely understand, but the market is not following suit here. Let's hear from Daby Cab. Daby Cab, fresh off a victory yesterday. That moves your MLB.
No,
sorry?
1-1, man. No victory.
I thought you only had the Quan.
No, I was on that over in the Yankees KC game with you. I mean, you can keep it off that record if you want, but in transparency, man, I went 1-1.
Oh, I thought you only had Quan. Okay, I'll have to go back on that. I'll take a look at that again. But it is time to talk Dodgers, Padres. Take it away, Daby Cab, your plan.
I mean, I know it's very public and unders have been cashing, but, I could see an over here. I'm going to do the same thing I did in this matchup last time. And I've already posted it. I'm on the Padres team total over here. Darvish, even though he was going to be out of the bullpen coming into the series, you talked about what he did in game 2. He held the Dodgers to just 1 run in 7 innings, 5 hits. Or excuse me, not 5 hits. Take that back. 1 run in 7 innings. But throughout the season, like this whole year, he's thrown 22 2/3 innings against the Dodgers. He's only given up 4 earned runs. He's got plenty of postseason experience. I see people in the chat talking about how he gives it up in close out games, and maybe there's numbers to back that. But as far as the postseason goes, Darvish has plenty of experience in this situation. I think he's definitely the guy I'd want to give the ball to. I mean, I know I'm a little biased because I've made a lot of money betting him, but Yamamoto's been hit by the Dodgers. I mean, he's given up 5 runs in game 1 here. Throughout the season, he gave up 13 runs in 9 innings to the Padres. So, I think he'll have a short lease, obviously, but even with that short lease, go slap him for 2 or 3 quickly. And then I just need another 2 through the rest of the game. Team total over 3.5 for the Padres. Maybe they lose it in a shootout. Maybe they win it 4-1. I don't know. Either way, I think they get the team total for me.
Team total over 3.5. Have you tweeted this out?
Yeah, I did. -110.
Team.
I'll mention real quick that I looked up Darvish's postseason game logs. He really hasn't had a stinker since 2017, honestly. And that was when he was on the Dodgers and he went 1 1/3 inning. And then
They were tipping.
So, yes, there you go.
I was at that fucking World Series. Fuck you, Houston.
So there you go. The rest of his starts have been all pretty solid, Darvish, in the postseason. So he lost game 2, but he went 6 2/3, 2 earned runs there, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 5 innings, 3 earned runs in game 2. I mean, these have all been pretty solid.
Now, this will be the opposite of Quan, but one last thing. Somebody in the chat put Tatis, just to set the stage for a little bit, the reason why October baseball is so fun is because every pitch matters so much. The hitters are so dialed in. The pitchers, are dialed in. Like it doesn't get better than this. And Tatis right now, talking about dialed in, that motherfucker is 100 all the way up. So if you want to look at props, I got no reason not to look at him. Same thing I felt with Quan yesterday. I mean, these two guys are, tearing a cover off of baseball right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. Tatis leading all of playoffs right now with his stick. One thing about the zigzag is we watched Waka look much, much stronger. Garrett Cole look much, much stronger. I wonder if Yamamoto will do the same thing here. Another thing we have is Abel Alvarez says Darvish 3-day rest, no bueno. He's not on 3-day rest. That was Sunday that he pitched. So he's fine, absolutely fine and good to go. Sharpie, the pitcher whisperer, you've been given a shout out from our guy Ski Prophet, says let Sharpie know his breakdown. Help me get the confidence with the under on Cole versus Waka. It says respect. Take it away for us, Sharpie. Padres, Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California, the winner into the NLCS.
Yeah, man, here we go. We got Yamamoto versus Darvish. Both on their normal allotted rest, as the Dodgers do like to give an extra day to Yamamoto, where the Padres have no issue asking Darvish to pitch every 5 days. So the question mark for me in this one is not Darvish, it's Yamamoto. And dare I say, like I said at the beginning, the wrong team may be favored here. Is last time I backed Yamamoto, guys, I also talked about how by the metrics, this Padres team gives him trouble. Yamamoto is 1% worse than league average at zone contact, and the Padres are the best zone contact team in the league. With 8 of 9 guys projected, are league average or better when it comes to that. Now, do I expect a better game from Yamamoto? Yes, but what is a better game? 3 runs? Maybe 2? As he showed me after getting waxed in Korea versus the Dodgers, the very first start in the year, that he is an ace, as he did bounce back a few weeks later. He went 5 innings, but he still gave up 3 runs. And when I read the reports, the Dodgers believe he was actually tipping pitches. And they believed he cleaned some stuff up, guys, on his delivery. This is what they said. They thought they were picking something up with the runners on second base. Okay, I get the Machado 2-run home run. Then how the fuck did Merrill score from first? That's where I don't think it's the tipping pitches. I think the Dodgers are digging a little too far right here. But at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with my bet or the way I'm looking to get in here right now. But he is the question mark, guys. But how long does he go? As Roberts and them are also talking about Flaherty's available today and blah, 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 blah. And I don't know. What do I know, guys, is I know what Hugh Darvish is, and I expect to know what Hugh Darvish is going to do. And I'm looking at the team total under 4.5 right now. The best I got is -154. It's fluctuated from minus 156 to 160, so it's actually came down 2 more cents. It's something I'm watching at. The closer it gets to 150, I'm going to fucking snatch it up. And I'm going to hope my Dodgers win scoring 4 or less, guys, but I don't think they score more than 4. I think 4 is at best. Let's talk Darvish. All right, guys, Darvish on a back-to-back. Oh, wait, he hasn't had a back-to-back since fucking 2022. And he pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 runs in the first game, then came back with 8.1 innings and gave up 3 runs. Yet 2 of those runs were in the 9th inning. He ain't pitching past the 6th today, guys, with this bullpen in a must-win situation. Then he had a back-to-back in the playoffs later that year. First game, 7-inning, 2 earned runs versus the Phillies. Backed it right on up with 6 innings, 2 earned runs. If we go back even to 2021 on his back-to-backs, guys, he faced the Rockies, 4 innings, 0 earned runs, followed it up with 7 innings, 0 earned runs. The Dodgers, both games he's seen them on a back-to-back, he went 7 innings, 1 earned run. And then the D-backs, guys, where he had a great game followed by a bad game. Now, a guy who, like me, who has watched Darvish for years, guys, is he's been in my division for quite some time now. I know he struggles versus the D-backs, as his career ERA versus the D-backs is 3.63, but since 2021, it's a solid 4. Yet versus the Dodgers in his career, it's a 2.27, and since 2021, it's a 2.35. Nothing fucking changes. He owns the Dodgers and has been in the league for 12 seasons with a career playoff ERA of 3.88. But like Jose said, let's go back to 2022, guys. 3 playoffs, 6 starts, and an immaculate 2.5 ERA. So what have you done for me lately, Darvish? Oh, just shut down the Dodgers on a consistent basis. So I know he can handle back-to-backs. He's handled this Dodgers team, and I don't expect him to go more than 6. 2 earned runs, 3 at worst. And that's why I want that 4.5. That 3 at worst sets me up with that back end of the bullpen. No matter what the fucking score is, I'm getting Scott, Suarez, and fucking the other dude, because I can't think of his name because I'm freaking
Adam.
And Adams. There you go. Ass. Said it the wrong way. That's why I couldn't remember it. Adam, Suarez, Scott, the ass, the back end, maybe the donk. At the end of the day, guys, I don't see my Dodgers scoring more than 4 at best. Realistically, 2, maybe 3. And Yamamoto's is a toss-up, guys. So maybe it's Padres first 3. Maybe it's Padres first 5. I won't fade my fucking team in the playoffs, but I will fade their team total, and I don't think they score 5 runs. I'm just waiting for the juice to come down before I get it.
Jimmy, you're muted, but if you don't mind, I got a couple things too that I wanted to come back to on this game. You know, this total, right? It's only sitting at 8. People are betting the over, and 12 runs with this same pitching matchup the other day. There are 12 runs with this, so it's telling you somebody's going to pitch well. And you know, the question mark is Yamamoto, like Sharpie just said. But we talk about the zigzag. I wrote this down to remind me to come back. I think the zigzag theory that you guys follow, I know that you've seen it for a long time and you have like a lot of memory of it working, but with pitchers that are in tune with their mechanics. Okay. And this isn't a betting take on this. This is just a baseball take on this. Okay. With pitchers that are in tune with their mechanics, I would not fuck with them on a back-to-back situation. And Darvish is one of those pitchers where he's very like his mechanics just watches delivery. Okay. There's a lot happening. It's not necessarily a delivery that you'd want to teach. But when he's got it, he's got it. And he's one of those people that gets into a rhythm, right, with his mechanics. So I think that zigzag theory needs to be tested like pitcher specific. Also, for me as a pitcher, if I threw good, it was more likely that I was going to throw good for the next couple weeks. Like I was streaky, same as I am gambling. I'd throw good for a few games and then I'd have a bad, I'd lay an egg or two and then I'd throw good for 4 games. So I don't know all about that zigzag theory. I've always had a bit of a question to that.
Yeah, I can understand as an athlete having more discomfort with the zigzag theory than as a gambler just watching it so often. I can see the difference there. Sharpie, and we'll go back around the horn here, but Sharpie, do you have interest in the team total under 4 for the Dodgers? I mean, you get that at a much nicer price.
I don't care about prices if they cash. And like I said, I see 3 at worst from Darvish, and then that gives me 1 from the elite bullpen. Realistically, none, but let's give them 1 because perfection is hard to ask for. So I don't have a problem paying for juices on my team totals when I know if I hit them over at a 70% rate. Like, I've been hitting team totals all fucking year.
No, I hear that. It makes sense. Right now, that team total is minus 150 at 365. It's just minus 138 at Pinnacle. That's a decent price.
See, I don't have Pinnacle. I would bet that, but I don't. I have DraftKings, MGM, FanDuel, and Bovada. So
no, I feel you. So Dodgers team total under 4.5 is what we expect Sharpie to go to the window with.
And I'm a fucking wheeze the juice, fucking Encino man, that bitch. There's a reason why DraftKings ain't offering a fucking 4.5, or they just did. I think they finally, but for 3 hours, that was the one off the board. And I'm like, y'all know if the Dodgers score, it's 4 on the dot. And that's what I think. 4 on the dot is the best they can do today.
I find this line exceedingly fishy. With the perceived advantage of Darvish against the Dodgers compared to Yamamoto against the Padres. So, but there is an 8. The fact I can understand why everybody's betting the over, but I find how in the world could the Dodgers be this big of a favorite against Darvish?
I've been trying to think of how to say what I want to say here, and I don't know how to exactly say it, but I guess it would be Yamamoto. He's good. I mean, he's damn good, and he's got a future, but I couldn't put him in that elite status just yet. I can't say that. And I know Darvish is old, but I kind of can, right? And with these Padre hitters, I talked about how turnt Tatis is right now. It's just Yamamoto versus Tatis and Machado and some of these guys right now. I take the lineup over the pitcher, and I'm somebody who usually takes the pitcher over the lineup.
I'll move on officially, Cab. I'll join you. Team total over 3.5 for the Padres here. I'm too scared of that line to take the full game money line. Minus 115 for me. I'll make official. But yeah, I think that it is very dubious that they're minus 140 almost. Hopefully by game time it gets down to minus 130. And if it gets down to minus 130 by game time, then I'd say the Padres are more live. But if it stays up here, I'd be like, I don't know.
Sharpie, I don't know if you can answer this question, but what exactly went wrong with Yamamoto in the first appearance against the Padres? What was the pitch
I went back and looked at his pitch mix and what he threw to freaking lefties, righties. He couldn't throw a curveball for a fucking strike. I think he threw 4 curveballs for a strike that day. Everything was just sporadic on that pitch. Fastball was fine. Split was fine. Slider, he only throws to one hand of the one side. So that pitch looked fine. It was his curveball. He couldn't get it over, couldn't throw it anywhere where he wanted to that day. And he is a 3-pitch pitcher. So if you're going to throw 2 pitches, fastball, split, it's real easy. If it's low, let it go. He don't throw a low fastball. He plays off the fucking high fastball. And if it's low, it's fucking breaking, bro. Don't swing. Because 5 of his fastballs were at knee high. And that's the role of hitting a guy who just got a Gosman. He's a 2-pitch pitcher. That Yamamoto's normally 3 pitches. So if he gets sucked down to 2, the Padres are too good of a fucking team to be able to pick a pitch and sit on it. Okay, if it's high, let it fly. If it's low, let it go.
You understand what he's saying there, Jimmy, right? It's real your approach at the plate is everything in baseball. And going up to the plate and being able to say, okay, I'm going to see the ball up, right? The curveball eliminates that because it's 12-6, like a clock, right? The way it
start high and then drop. You need that curveball.
Exactly. If you take that out of the mix, all I got to do is see the ball up. I'm going to fucking mash that shit when it's up there.
Then one thing now that I do want to bring up too is I don't know where all this freaking future money is at, dude, because that may have to do with this line too, with the books balancing it out a little bit, because where's all the fucking money at on the futures? A lot of people got big Padre fucking tickets, huge Padre tickets. So are they willing to like why are they willing to give Dodgers some money right here so they can get some back? I don't know what the fucking books do. Like, if I start getting into that, I'm gonna freak out. But one thing I do want to say is you don't try to fight daddy. And the Padres threw a fucking ball at Roberts, and the Dodgers are their daddy. Let's not fucking forget that. They're the ones who've been here. And since that incident, it's been 15 innings now since they've scored. So I'm not saying the Padres are gonna fucking struggle or not. I don't know. I don't know what Yamamoto's gonna do. I think he gets hit, but don't fight daddy.
If this was a pick'em, I'd be on the Padres first 3 and first 5.
See, when I woke up, it was minus 150 Dodgers. So it's showing me the money's going.
Yo,
On
Justin said
FanDuel, it was 150 and up. So the money's coming.
He wishes he had boots on the ground. If there is anybody in here that's going to be at the game, don't be a fucking asshole and throw shit on the field. Respect the game. That shit's for the birds, man. Respect the game of baseball.
You don't give people fire, bro. Let's not give the Padres any fuel for their dugout. Let's just go play some baseball and beat them.
I just hate this feeling that I'm not going to have action on the game tonight. But I find it
great
so
live betting spot, Jimmy. As soon as they go to these bullpens, just fucking smack the under and turn the game off.
Yeah. No, that's the move. After that grand slam by Teoscar, I mean, that's a perfect example. Not another run was scored. Okay. Well, our panel has action, and that's all we need. Daby Cab, Padres team total over 3.5. Jose, Padres team total over 3.5. And Sharpie, Dodgers team total under 4.5. Justin McKelvey stacks play today. Mookie bets over 1.5 bases at plus 114. And a wager detective says if it goes over, the Padres win. Abel A says, remember, Dodgers bullpen shut out the Padres 10-0. Don't want to face the Dodgers bullpen. Wager detective says Dodgers closed out the Padres in San Diego 12-3 in 2020. In NHL and in NBA, the home court or home ice is so important in these game sevens. And I don't know if it's the same in baseball. I don't know.
So.
I've never felt it because it's very different, and the pressure and sometimes coming in as the enemy really helps a pitcher kind of lock in. All right, our cappers have made their moves here, and good luck. Aaron Gaza on the under 8. Gordon Nkowski on the Padres money line. Coin thinks there's going to be an under tonight. Sportsman of the Year, Lucky Lefty, is on the Dodgers first 3. Justin McKelvey will be parlaying Dodgers team total over 3.5 and Iowa money line at plus 178. He's already on the Dodgers minus 139 and has the Dodgers World Series at plus 325 in his pocket. Jim Dewigger was looking at the first 5 under 4.5, and I keep coming back to it. But I guess if this is just about making money, then why would I risk it when I know the script is when they go to the bullpen, live bet the under? In the questions around Yamamoto, why would I invest in it here? J-Dub says Yamamoto, no. Robert Franklin on Padres money line. Newkirk on Padres money line. Something's not right. So good luck, you guys. I hate being off this, but I'll look to get in live. Let's talk about Game 5 of the ALDS next. Cleveland Guardians at Detroit Tigers. We're in Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Let's get into the weather in this one here. And what a beauty we have in store. Tomorrow night, we have 59 Fahrenheit, 5.4 miles per hour right to left. It stays between 5.4 and 4.8 miles per hour. It is cool, but not freezing. Let's get into the line history for tomorrow's game and the cash flow. We have a 6 minus 114 towards the under. It has not moved since it opened up at Pinnacle at 10:43 p.m. last night. The last 6 we saw went under comfortably. On the money line, the Guardians are plus 110 right now. They opened up at plus 110, and then within 40 minutes, it went to plus 113. Then this morning, it came back to plus 110. So we have no movement on the money line. When we get to the cash flow, you have 94% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on the over. We're only talking about 1,231 tickets. But that's a lot. On the over. On the money line, we have 80% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on these Detroit Tigers. Let's break this down, set this up for our panel. Sharpie will be starting us off. Tariq Skubal as being spectacular. 18-4, 2.39 ERA, 0.92 whip, 228 strikeouts in 192 innings with 35 walks. Beat the Guardians 3-0 at Cleveland. Went 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, no walks, only allowed 3 hits. Was strong on the road. Not as good as he was at home, but he was strong on the road. Why do I have sorry, did I have Detroit let me fix this here. This is at Cleveland. I don't know why the hell I said Detroit. That is the weather I gave you at Cleveland. I guess I just copied and pasted game 4 in my lack of sleep. 59 Fahrenheit in Cleveland, not Detroit. In Cleveland, 5.4 miles per hour right to left. I apologize about that. Let's roll into this here. Skubal Boyd. Skubal on the road, 8-3, 2.86 ERA, 234 opponents batting average. Matthew Boyd has been excellent this year. It's hard to believe this was the Blue Jay that came up in our system, who's now an absolute monster. 2-2, 2.72 ERA, 1.13 whip in the regular season, 46 strikeouts over 39 2/3. Last start, 4 2/3, 4 hits, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 3-0 loss at home versus the Tigers. But he was very good. He's been very good at home in a very short sample size. He's thrown 20 innings, 23 strikeouts and 4 walks, 205 opponents batting average, 5 earned runs. Now, we've never seen him in this kind of situation except for that first start against Skubal. We've never seen him in these high-profile spots. Another pitcher was dealing with an injury. We hadn't seen him in a long time, and he's not dealing with any arm fatigue. The difference and the tricky part about studying the stats in this one is the Guardians raked lefties in September, and they were raking every lefty not named Tariq Skubal in the playoffs. So Guardians versus lefties, 208, 286, 901 OPS. In the playoffs, 250, 675 OPS. Tigers were horrible versus lefties in September, 199, 584 OPS, but they've been okay in the playoffs, 269, 692 OPS. These bullpens have been absolutely spectacular in September in the playoffs. Very similar whips. The Guardians, 1.31 ERA, 0.92 whip in September. In the playoffs, 2.89 ERA, 1.02 whip. The Tigers bullpen in September, 2.41 ERA, 0.99 whip. In the playoffs, 2.65 ERA, 1.03 whip. We have a very low total. We have a money line not moving with Skubal favored on the road. Take it away for us, Sharpie. Get us started. Cleveland, Detroit to get into the ALCS against the New York Yankees.
I haven't done no crazy ass breakdowns on these 2 games yet because I have all fucking day. But at the end of the day, we've got Skubal, a guy I'll look to back, versus Boyd and Vogt, and I hate him. So I hope they fucking lose this game, Cleveland, personally, because, I just don't like the way Vogt's been coaching this game. But you can guarantee you're going to get freaking a reliever in the 4th inning all the way up on through when you're facing Cleveland. And Skubal, with his outs and everything, they got him posted at. And I mean, it's the highest it's ever been for a playoff pitcher in like this type of spot that I've seen in years. It is so juiced to the over 17.5. They are saying he's going fucking 6. And that's pretty much their game plan. He has to go 6 for them to even have a chance. But I don't know if I'm going to get in this game realistically. I mean, I don't like backing Skubal as a favorite. It is a pick 'em, but I mean, you're going to get a 2.5? And versus a guy who actually has a 3.5 career ERA versus this team. I mean, you've smoked them 3 times this year, bro. Baseball says it's your time to get smoked. I'm not going to bet that because good pitching beats good hitting. And this is the best pitcher in the postseason. I mean, besides Cole Ragans, but he's gone. He's gone. So, I don't. It's hard for me to get in this game. Like, think doesn't pay the bills. And I can't bet a think. This game is a fucking coin flip. It says it in the line. I don't think there's I mean, if there's anything, I think Boyd is the susceptible one on a back-to-back because he doesn't have the overpowering stuff.
And what do you make of these Guardians raking lefties?
It's kind of like Milwaukee throughout the year. Their numbers actually at the beginning of the year were really good versus lefties, I believe, for the first 2 months. It was more of what lefties, it's like when you face good lefties, not more often than not, you got smoked. Now, Carlos Rodon is not a good lefty. Okay. That guy is not a good lefty. So there's tiers to this, guys. And shout out to the old passed away Dave Koken, guys. But years ago, he showed me, man, there should be tiers. They put pitchers out 1 through 5. You should label your pitchers kind of like power rankings in the NFL, 1 through 5s, guys. You should have your own listings. And I don't like betting on guys below a 3 personally. And Scooble's gone all the way up to a 1, guys. There was a time where he struggled versus lefties. Now he dominates lefties. And with Cleveland, they run 3 lefties minimum versus a lefty. Like, they have to. Quan and Naylor are 2 of their best hitters. They're not fucking sitting them. And they happen to be lefties.
Huh. Interesting. We watch this matchup fly towards the under, and are we going to see this back-to-back? Let's move on to our next.
Oh, and before we do that, Jose Ramirez bats damn near 400 off of this, man. And Naylor can't hit the fucking dog piss out of him. So, I mean, he's the one guy we've talked about. The one guy you got to watch out for, man. Like 25 at bats. Better watch out for that boy.
Daby Cab, your plan for ALDS Game 5, Detroit at Cleveland.
Yeah, we came out swinging on the first one. I haven't bet this one either, but I mean, if you're a Tigers backer, if you've been betting the Tigers, which Jimmy, I feel like you've been with the Tigers this year, and other people, how do you not want the Tigers here? And I guess, you could say maybe it's a trappy line, but I saw Justin in the chat put Scooble's not Himothy. Let me tell you something, man. I've gone on record here saying that as far as stuff plus goes, in his prime, Jacob deGrom, I think is probably the best pitcher as far as stuff goes. And then there's Scooble comes up, right? So we got Jacob deGrom. He's throwing 92, maybe 93 sometimes with this slider. One of the best pitches I've ever seen. And then this motherfucker comes up from the left side and throws his slider at 94 miles an hour with break. If you haven't seen it in person, you don't understand how much it's breaking. I'm telling you, the TV doesn't do it justice. There's no way that I would want to go against Scooble here. So for me, it's take the Tigers or pass. I don't know what I'm going to do or if I'm going to do anything with it, but I mean, this is his chance. He hasn't had a chance to prove if he's quote unquote Himothy. This is his chance. And he very likely is Himothy, Justin, just so you know.
I mean, any sign of danger, if we think that if we trust Scooble on the spot and think that Matthew Boyd is the one that could have some vulnerability, we know that he'll be pulled immediately. I mean, I still like the under 6 here. And maybe you can leave that first 3 under 1.5, because let's say if it's 2-0 Tigers, the under is still very, very much in play. Let's hear what Jose Bouquett has to say about Guardians Tigers. Take it away.
I will be betting. Baseball, I will be betting the Cleveland Guardians in this baseball game. It opened up -130. It's dropped down to -114. We have all the money and bets on the Tigers. Everyone's going to bet the Tigers. And it's funny that this line has already dropped. Bullpen-wise, it's going to matter here. We're going to get 6-7 strong innings of Scooble. And then he's going to pass it off to a bullpen that, admittedly, everyone's gone on a back-to-back here. Brisky, they've seen him a lot now. Holton, he's shit his pants earlier in the series, but he'll be here. Will Vest, 27 pitches last 2 days. I just think that the Guardians are definitely live in this game. And I think Matthew Boyd can pitch 4 or 5 innings of matching Scooble's zeros. We did it earlier in this series, 4 2/3. And I like the revenge angle again. I love that hate in your heart. This is the ultimate. You guys left me out. I'm going to come back and I'm going to fuck you in the biggest game. At home, I think the Cleveland Guardians somehow find a way to win this ball game. So I'll be on the Tigers here. I'll take it at plus 104, bet online.
You mean the Guardians?
Yes, excuse me, the Guardians. Yes, plus 105, bet online.
You know, it's interesting that
I was
market.
going to say Jose reveals how he caps. I think the Guardians win, so give me the Tigers, Jimmy.
It's interesting looking at the line movement because you're using bet online. I think the minus 130 was a mistake in this, game 5. Because it opens up minus 130 in 21 minutes. It's minus 120. 10 minutes after that, it's minus 117. Pinnacle has just kept it at that number, but it came out an hour and 20 minutes or so after that opening line at Bet Online. I remember when Boyd and Norris were traded for David Price, and it was a great trade for the Jays. But, I thought Daniel Norris and Boyd were going to be really good pitchers at the time. And I can't believe, what year was that? I mean, how far are we going back to that trade? 2015. I can't believe it's 9 years later and we're seeing Matthew Boyd shoving here. It's amazing. Jose is on the Guardians here at home at plus 105. Plus 105.
Jimmy,
and yeah.
Can I get something out? I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So what I was saying is I do think he has the best slider in baseball, but his slider is a harder pitch to run in on somebody than it is to run away from somebody. And as a lefty, he's running it in on hitters more than he's running it away. So there's a lot in that conversation to unpack, Justin. I'm just simply saying his slider is one of the best, if not the best. That's all.
Oh, I know it's great having a pitcher
so
on the panel.
DraftKings, they have a 15-cent difference on the actual money line for the Tigers and the first 3. Which is telling me I should be betting the first 3.
No, but all the books screw you on first 3s. They take more juice. So I
might just take lead after 3. I mean, this is something I'm still going to go over and think of, but I'm going to look to back Tarek and fade Boyd on a back-to-back. There's difference between aces and middle of the rotation guys going on back-to-backs, in my opinion.
That's fair. So, let's say you were forced to make a $500 bet on something right now. Forced to right now. It's not even your money. Someone gives you $500, but you have to bet it right now. What would be your first bet?
It would be the money line because I'm a safe better first 3. But it's minus 140. But it's minus 140 right now. So, I mean, the return on that ain't going to be that great, but most people would take the half a run. But like I said, he's going to have to see Ramirez. Can he give up a solo shot? Yes. To ask a guy to be fucking perfect is insane. So I would rather pay the juice for if that were to tie, in my opinion.
Truth Teller looking at the over. Dougie Wise on Cleveland money line. Big Fat Pauly on the Tigers first 5 minus a half at plus 120. Dougie Wise, by the way, thinks it's Tigers first 5, Guardians full game. Nate Dogg says Detroit is like the Mets. They have a special aura around them. Wager Detective says not betting against Hinch, though. Not betting against
Hinch. I have a free $500 bet.
Yeah, if you had one, we know. Oh, we don't at this point. What would you be moving on if you had one?
Oh, the pretend 500. Okay, probably first 5 with the Tigers, right? What's the money line first 5? Same line of thinking almost.
Well, I'll tell you the price differences here in the at 365. The Tigers are minus 125 full game. They're minus 140 first 5, and they're minus 150 first 3.
Yeah, because they don't want you to bet it.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess when it comes down to it, you just in case of Matthew Boyd shoving, you would want to take just the Tigers first 5 money line and leave the push in order, which I guess is what I'm leaning towards in the end. But I do want to see this market a little longer because you have to think that the public is going to come and back Tariq Skubal.
I mean, in the line of thinking of a $500 bet, yeah, I'm going to pay a little extra juice, right?
Yeah.
But you're
The
betting
Yankees are
amount.
sitting back, drinking Dom Perignon, enjoying Skubal pitch this game, not caring now because they're not going to see this fucker 3 times.
Oh, absolutely.
That's the worst part of the David Fry's home run yesterday. It made me sick.
The Yankees are minus 230 to go to the freaking World Series when everybody in the NL is plus money.
It's crazy. And there was Jose's call from the beginning of the year. These Bronx Bombers, his hated rival. Jose on the Guardians at plus 105. That is the only thing official here from us as a group. That is our breakdown of Detroit Tigers at Cleveland Guardians. Then in the Padres, Dodgers, Cab on the Padres team total over 3.5. Jose on the Padres team total over 3.5, and Sharpie on the Dodgers team total under 4.5. That is our MLB breakdowns for Friday, October 11th, and Saturday, October 12th. Sharpie, thank you for rocking with us. When is the next time you will be on the Odds Bunch YouTube channel?
I don't know. I'm probably going to go get high and take a fucking nap. But if you want, this is the way I think it goes. I don't care if the Mets are done. Their story's nice. The Padres are a way fucking better team. The Dodgers are a way better team. Starting pitching, bullpen, hitting, go through any fucking which way of both of those teams. Whoever wins tonight is going to the World Series. Go get you some fucking plus money on the team you think is going to win this Padres Dodgers and just bet them to make the pennant. Don't even bet them for the World. You're going to get plus money on making the World Series, guys. And I don't see the Mets beating either of those teams. So bet them both, but get you some good plus money, guys, in my opinion.
I love it. I love it. Please support the Odds Bunch YouTube channel and our friend Sharpie. I'll pop Sharpie's Twitter handle here in the chat. Daby Cab is sticking with me as we roll into college football. Jose, last words here on MLB.
No, good luck to everyone. And I wonder what outfit's next in this rotation of outfits.
Yes.
Hey, Jimmy, do me a favor and hand these to Wine Time first, and I'll weigh in every time. I had no internet all night, so I didn't get to do as much as I'd like, but I still capped into them. And I mean, I watch everything college football, so I'm still good to go with it.
Okay, sounds good. There, we will start with our next guest. Our next guest, both of our guests are rolling. Both of our guests have better numbers than what they've given out here on the show, but they're Daby Cab's ROI here on the show plus 6.88%. And then we have our guy Wine Time's ROI plus 17.92%. You guys are both delivering the goods. Please welcome from Los Angeles, California. Oh, I don't see him backstage. Okay, here we go. From Los Angeles, California. Okay, there. Okay, Wine Time Sports in the house. Wine Time, how are you?
What up, fellas? Good to be here with you guys on a Friday, man. I'm good to see my guy Daby Cab on screen, man. Anytime I get to share the screen with you two guys here, man, I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked to talk about these games tonight and a couple of them tomorrow.
Yeah, it's great. Daby Cab's going to be rocking with us on Fridays here as we move forward. Shout out to Jay's final takes as Dodgers all the way. Let's get this set up. We're not cutting out the Friday. We're not cutting out any of these videos, so I don't need to worry about having this as proper as these other spots. So let me just take a second to set this up. Why don't you tell us, Wine Time, how did last night's college football go for you?
We got a loser. We had Coastal Carolina plus the 9 points. They lost by, I believe, a lot of points. It was a tie game at one point, but it just got away from them. Didn't pay too much attention to the game. I was kind of watching the NFL game a little bit more. I was on the under in that spot as well. So 0-2 day for your boy across the board, but we're ready to get back at it on Friday, man.
You said you were on the under?
In the NFL game, yeah.
Oh, shit. I was about to say, well, you cashed it because Coastal Carolina let me down also. I had the over, and they didn't fucking do anything after the first ball.
I know. And I was on Coastal plus the points. I thought they were going to potentially win that game outright, honestly. And
I thought they could at least give me a
mismatch.
garbage time touchdown, just something have some fight. They were dropping balls that are hitting them in the hands. They laid down and quit. One of their players got ejected for having two.
I saw that 2 personal fouls. Yeah, that was wild. He looked like he was about to cry on the sideline too.
He was, bro. He tears in his eyes, little bitch. So,
but yeah, man, we got a good card today. So far I've got 2 bets on today's action and 1 game in the later games. The last game we're talking about. Have a couple leans in these first 2 games. I'm curious to see what you guys say and what the chat says, and when we kind of break these down to see if I'm going to move on them.
To make you guys feel better on your loss, there was no worse bet than going back to the UTEP well. I just a glutton for punishment. Unfucking believable. First half, UTEP, they tied it up at 7, and I was like, oh, fuck. Okay, let's get to work. 8 p.m. Eastern. We have the Northwestern Wildcats, 2-3, 0-2 in the Big Ten at Maryland Terrapins. The Terps are 3-2 and also 0-2 in the Big Ten. This is a big game. We're in College Park, Maryland, 57 Fahrenheit, clear, 1 mile per hour. So it's a beautiful night, a little cold, but a beautiful night for football. Let's get into the line history here for this one. We're going to be using Pinnacle line moves. This is opening at -9.5, and it quickly went to -11.5. This was -11.5 on Wednesday, and it stayed there until an hour and a half ago when we had a 1-point move back to Northwestern. We still have a 1-point move towards the Terps. Let's get into the total here for this one. From a total perspective, we are dealing with a 45 minus 104 to the under. This opened up at 45.5, dropped to 45, and then got up to 46.5. It was at 46.5 on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning before it came back to 45. So that's where we stand right now. A 0.5-point move to the under and a 1-point move towards Maryland. From a cash flow standpoint, you have 60% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on Maryland. And you have 83% of the tickets and 66% of cash on the over. Just 17 and 34 on the under. Northwestern, off of back-to-back losses, losing 24-5 at Washington and then losing at home to Indiana 41-24. Maryland coming in off their bye week. So both teams faced Indiana. Both teams lost by margin. The week before the Northwestern Indiana game, Maryland lost at Indiana 42-28. It's nice having the common opponent here. Indiana put up 510 yards and would have destroyed them except for the 4 turnovers that Indiana had. The Maryland had no turnovers. So you win the turnover battle 4-0 and lose by 14 points is pretty shocking. It's a pretty shocking spot. And again, I give you the spread on that one. That was Indiana as 7.5-point favorites. 7.5-point favorites. In Maryland's loss last week, they lose 41. Northwestern's loss last week. They lose 41-24 at home. Again, Indiana puts up 529 yards. I mean, this Indiana offense is just humming. Indiana was 12.5-point favorite. So Indiana covers against both Northwestern and Maryland. Wine time, we're going to be starting with you on these breakdowns. Take it away. We're in College Park, Maryland for Wildcats Terps.
Yeah, Jimmy, interesting. Both these teams coming off facing Indiana, a team that's completely been flying under the radar all season. I wasn't high on them coming into this season. After seeing them play, they are the real deal. They bring in the coach from James Madison's completely turned this program around, entered the James Madison culture into these guys, and they're buying in. It's clear. These guys don't have that tough of a schedule this season either. But yeah, anyways, going on to this game, Northwestern was in that game. They were going blow for blow with Indiana in part of that game. That fourth quarter really kind of set them apart. Yeah, Indiana covered against both these teams, but I do think the score was a lot closer than it actually indicated. Maryland, they got a really good quarterback. Kid's name's Billy Edwards, playing really good ball right now, 6'4", 220, 4-star recruit. His head coach, Michael Oxley, really high on him, said he's one of the better quarterbacks in the country. He said that in a press conference this week. He's playing some good ball, too, to back it up, honestly. With that being said, this Northwestern team, they've got a really good defense on that side of the football. Offense is really non-dimensional right now. They're more of a run-first team. I like their head coach that they brought in. We've talked about him a couple times here. He turned this program around within 1 year. We went from 1 win to 8 wins last year. Like what he's doing over there. With that being said, they don't really have a home place to play at. They're playing next to a lake at a lacrosse field, but they're still staying in a lot of these games, honestly. You look at Maryland, on the other hand, playing at home here. This is going to be a good matchup. I think 11 points is a little bit too much, if you're going to ask me. I think Northwestern could hang tight with these guys, honestly. They made a change at quarterback. They got a sophomore quarterback in there. They sat the Mississippi State transfer after, I believe, the Duke game because he really couldn't get anything going. Either that or he got hurt, but either way, they made a change at quarterback. They're staying in a lot of these games, honestly. I think these scores are a little bit more closer. They lost to Washington 24-5. Washington, that team should be 6-0 right now. And if they were 6-0, they could be a top 12 team in the nation right now, quite honestly. So with that being said, I'm leaning toward Northwestern in this one, guys. I might think it's too many points. If I can get an 11, I might get there right now, honestly. This spread is a little bit, it's high. Maybe it's high for a reason. It's a Friday night. Maybe Maryland's going to blow these guys out of the water, but I think Northwestern's defense can come to play in this one. So I do have a lean on the Northwestern side, plus 11.
A lean towards Northwestern. Dutch Boy Fresh gave us Maryland first quarter -3 at -120. Gave us that off the top of the show. Says the Terps have outscored the opposition 38-7 in first quarters at home over 3 games. Daby Cab Friday night action. Wildcats Terps in College Park, Maryland.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been doing a lot of thinking about what I want to do with this since, and you said it off the top. I appreciate you saying it because Winetime and me, we do Saturdays, so we have more bets, obviously, and we always track everything transparent. I know it's just plus 1 unit, and I'm not happy with being plus, 3 units in MLB, but it was still plus. I take pride in bringing you guys plus money, regardless of if it's a little bit or a lot. And if we're not taking all of my action, I might pass on this one because of that. And I might put a small bet on Maryland first half. I listened to what Winetime said full game, and I get it. And that's, you see his record, 61%. I don't want to just sit here and go against him, especially when I haven't had the ability to look into this game as much as I want. My only problem with Northwestern, their defense hasn't been allowing very many points per game. They've been great, as far as that goes. But their secondary has been a bit questionable. And I agree with you on Maryland's quarterback. I like him. I think the kid, works through his progressions well. And I think Maryland early might be a look here, but I have not pulled the trigger yet.
We got MMA locker room in the house. Says, can't wait to hear y'all talk about my K-State Wildcats. That's the real purple team. We will be talking about the real purple team. We have a best bet here from our guy Winetime Sports. That's our final game on today's card. So we roll on, no action in that one. Let's go to 9 p.m. Eastern. UNLV Rebels 4-1, 1-0 in the Mountain West at Utah State Aggies 1-4, 0-1 in the Mountain West. We're at Maverick Stadium in Logan, Utah. 72 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 3-mile-per-hour winds. We got action from cappers in our chat. Sportsman of the Year, our guy Lucky Lefty, gave us Utah State first quarter -0.5 at plus 327. Plus 327. We also got action here from, I got to find it, here from, where is it? Other cappers in the chat. I will find it. I got to go through all my notes. Yes, Ick Schnizzle. Icky E. Woods gave us UNLV -18.5 and the over 66.5. Let's get to work here. We'll start in the line history over at Pinnacle. We'll start with this total. Already heard Ick Schnizzle on the over 66.5. That's where it stands right now at Pinnacle. This opened up at 64.5. It's climbed 2 points to 66.5. Let's get to the point spread in this one. We have UNLV 19 points favorites. They opened up -19 at -108. They're now -19 at -105. So no movement towards the Rebels. We go to the cash flow. You have 74%, now 75% of the tickets and 86% of the cash on UNLV. Line's not moving towards them. On the total, you have 46. Oh, sorry. It dropped a bit. On the total, you have 61% of the tickets and 85% of cash on the over. And this has moved along a big amount. The look ahead too was 58.5. So this has been a huge move towards the over. Millsy is a UNLV trifecta player prop. Williams over 188 passing, over 1.5 touchdowns passing, and 1 anytime touchdown at plus 170 for our guy Mills. Let's get into just a setup here for you guys, and then hear you guys destroy this spot. We were in a great spot situationally to fade UNLV last week, and Wine Time led us in that direction. We moved on Syracuse, and they won outright. And it was a very, very difficult spot for UNLV following that huge win over Fresno State, with the Slovak, with the quarterback change, Slovis. What the hell is his name? I fucking put a line through him and forget about him. I guess he'll be back next year.
Sorry, Sluka.
Sluka. Thank you,
Yep.
Sluka.
Oh, I'm sitting here fucking saying it before you muted.
Yeah, me too. I know. I gotta take off.
Oh, we were both muted. Oh, that's even worse. I'm sitting here like Sluka. No, Sluka, Jimmy.
And then we have Utah State. Utah State had a bye week coming in. Now, look, we know what Boise State is and what they're like at home. And even with the bye week, Utah State allows 62 points to Boise. Utah State has allowed 48 points at USC. They've allowed 38 points against their rival Utah, which they were in that game early. They allowed 45 points at Temple and 62 at Boise. So what number are the Rebels going to put up after their loss at home to Syracuse? Take it away, Wine Time. Rebels, Aggies, Maverick Stadium.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup, Jim. UNLV coming off that loss to Syracuse in just an absolute fight until the end. They went into overtime. I wish I could have gotten in on Syracuse in that spot. I didn't end up moving on it, though. But shots to Kyle McCord making some big-time throws in that one. UNLV still look good, though, against a really good team from the ACC over there, honestly. Playing at home, these guys are going to be pissed off, I think. I think Barry Odom off a loss. These guys should blow them out of the water in this one. Utah State has had some crushing losses going back to week 1 against USC. They couldn't get anything going. Looking at their track record this season, honestly, they gave up 62 to Boise. They gave up 45 to Temple. Ouch. Gave up 38 to Utah. They did score 21 against Utah. That was actually kind of impressive, and they have been able to get on the board the last couple weeks. First couple weeks they couldn't really get anything going, but they are scoring points now. That being said, though, I think UNLV is going to come in here pissed off. You got the quarterback coming in here. Malik Williams looks very comfortable in this offense. He honestly could have a better arm than Matthew Sluka, and he's 100% faster than Matthew Sluka. I think they're going to want this one. They're definitely going to try to blow these guys out of the water. UNLV, they can still kind of run the table, go 11-1, and somehow maybe sneak into the college football playoff, depending on how Syracuse season goes the rest of the year. I mean, this is all just some questions, because there's a 12-team playoff, nothing set in stone, but this UNLV team is going to be motivated. All these kids are motivated ever since Matthew Sluka left. They've had a very tough schedule outside of their conference as well. We mentioned they lost to Syracuse last week at home in a really good matchup. I could only lean the UNLV side here in an absolute smash spot. They could beat these guys by 30 to 40 points. This could be a 21-0 game at the end of the first quarter. Might kick ourselves for not taking it. I got nothing on it, but I could only lean towards the UNLV side in this one in a big bounce back spot.
Why do you think this line's not moving with all the cash and money on them? Is that the reason why you're not on it?
Yeah, pretty much, honestly. Utah State, they've been able to score. That is the thing. UNLV defense has been pretty solid for the most part. I mean, Syracuse has a pretty good offense, but Utah State, they've been getting going. Putting up 30 points against Boise, 29 against Temple, 21 against Utah. Utah's a really good defense, so maybe the books, maybe they know something before they set this line. But yeah, you're right. Look at the market right now, Jim. 74% of tickets, 86% of cash on them. It's definitely looking like, what did this line open up at, Jim? A 17 or 17 and a half?
Not at Penny. Opened right at this number, a 19 and a half.
Yeah, but that's tough.
If we're just looking at, numbers though, like just comparing these two defenses, one of them's 281st in the country versus the UNLV side that's 58 in the country. And that's just points against scored, but still,
UNLV has had some really good games on. Think about what they did against Fresno State a couple weeks ago. I think they only gave up 7 to 14 points, and Fresno State's got actually a pretty good offense. It's tough, man. All the money is on UNLV. If the line's not moving like that, Definitely a little worry. So I'm going to go ahead and stay off this one, but I do think UNLV can come in here pissed off and beat them by 20 plus, but it's a stay away from me for now.
It's funny that the money's like that, Jimmy, because my whole cap would basically be the same. Williams, I mean, you both said it. He's looked good. Passing, running. Sluka didn't seem to be as big of a loss as what people thought he was going to be. It's just one of these teams in Utah State is 1-4 ATS right now, where the other team in the Rebels is 4-1.
Yeah.
I guess Vegas doesn't care about that, I guess, with all the money. And that's weird to me because, one team you can trust and one team you can't trust. It's kind of like that.
I mean,
Utah State too. It's just I don't know what we're going to see from this offense against this UNLV defense. I know I already talked about this, but the UNLV defense is actually pretty for real over there. They got some good guys on the defensive side that they grabbed from the Power 4 programs that have played a lot of big time ball, and they're playing in the Mountain West right now. It's a tough game though. I mean, you mentioned UNLV 4-1 against the spread, Utah State 1-4 against the spread. Maybe this is a Utah State backdoor cover. Maybe could definitely see that. Talent-wise, though, I think UNLV should have no problem scoring against these guys. That is the thing.
Yeah.
Yes, Red Girl. Yes, we have MLB spreadsheet here from Ron Crawford. My bad, I messed that up. Dealing with severe lack of sleep here. I should have, but there it is right there. We'll go over it again. What do you think about Utah State team total over 23.5?
Ooh, I mean, that's actually a lot. I didn't even look at the team totals in this one, Jim. Maybe this is a Utah State backdoor cover. Maybe they get 24 points. This is a tough spot. That's actually a pretty high number. I know the total's high in this one, 66.
And the total is moving, right? So where we haven't seen the move towards UNLV with all this money on them, we have seen the 64.5 move to 66.5. And if all this money's on UNLV and the line's not moving towards them and this total's moving, well, shouldn't that kind of lead us to the team total over for the dog at home?
I agree. I didn't really look at that spot, honestly, but I agree with that, with everything you just said, honestly, especially with a point spread, the total points being that high for them. Yeah, maybe they do score that many points, honestly. That's definitely a better look, I think.
I mean, 24 points.
I wouldn't bet this game. Personally, that's just me.
Shout out to my guy Kong's Clip in the building, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Let's go, my guy. Cheers to you. Thanks for always showing out. Can't wait to break some of these games down with you on the tailgate tomorrow, my guy.
Kong is the absolute man. Shout out to our guy Kong's Clip. Well, I think that is the spot for me. That's the spot for me. I think it's, it kind of covers if UNLV takes a huge lead and kind of take their foot off the gas, a little bit here. Do we trust Spencer Petras? I think so. I mean, he's coming off his best game, 3 touchdowns. Now it was against Boise, who were comfortably in hand. Let's just take another look at that Boise spot here before we move on. We'll be moving on here in a second.
It does look like Utah State's offense is heading in the right direction based on what they've been doing the last couple of weeks on their schedule. They're scoring more and more points every single week. So.
Yeah, but anyways, I was going to say Boise State's the one team that I put in the playoffs out of the non-Power 5 right now. But still, they were up. I mean, they won 62-30. Never mind. You don't talk friends off dogs, right? I wouldn't bet this game. I think there's so much better stuff to bet today.
Yeah, the next game's definitely going to be I like the next game a lot more. It's an interesting spot, though, that you mentioned that now, Jim. I'm going to be looking at a little bit more at the team total for Utah State, I guess, and see where it's. What is that, 23.5 right now, you said?
Well, you can get 22.5 heavily juiced, 23.5 cheaper here.
Maybe I'm just biased because I thought fucking Coastal would at least score 20 last night, and they fucking sucked.
Yeah, especially scoring a touchdown.
Maybe I'm sensitive because of that. I don't know.
Okay, I'm interested in this one. I'm interested in the Utah State team total over. Look, I know that Boise State is, you have them in the playoffs due to their offense. So, it's not, but Utah State in that game, they put up 507 yards on Boise. 507 yards, and now they're home. Now, yes, look, clearly a very angry Rebel group coming off of a loss, but okay, I'll spend a little bit more time on that, but I think that's where I end up here is on Utah State team total over. Okay, let's roll on. We have a big one on our hands next up. The number 16th ranked Utah Utes, 4-1, 1-1 in the Big 12, constantly hoping that Cameron Rising will be healthy. I mean, it's just a never-ending story with the Utes. Will Rising be in or out every single game through his whole career?
Since last year, it's all I've heard. Every time a Utah game is talked about. It's
Guys, I went to UCLA at Utah September 25th last year, and Cam Rising was expected to play. He was out there warming up, didn't play the rest of the season, guys. This guy's a 7th-year guy. It's wild. Continue, Jim. Let's get into this. I'm excited for this.
It's wild. It's just a nonstop issue here. And the question is raised yet again in this one. And then we have Arizona State Sun Devils. We're in Mountain America Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. You know, they pushed the game back to 8:30 local, 10:30 Eastern because it's so hot. It does cool down a little bit. We get to about 92 Fahrenheit at kickoff, and then maybe like 88, so it starts cooling down. But it is hot and very, very difficult to play here. Arizona State just was here, and they bounced back from that loss at Texas Tech. They defeated Kansas 35-31 last week, put up 481 yards, did turn the ball over twice, but they were the better team, 2.5-point favorites. That game was 17-14 going into the fourth quarter, and the teams combined for 35 points. And from a live betting standpoint, how often are we seeing this? These defenses wilting in the heat, and then the fourth quarter comes and they can't make stops. It's a live betting paradise when you're dealing with. Look what we did last night. You know, we knew the 49ers had just been through this heat, and we live bet the over 42.5. 60 points are scored. You know, we live bet Seattle plus 19.5. Couple different moves that could have won this game. So anytime, this is something we just have to keep focused on when these teams are whittling in the heat. Look for a live over because it was an easy casher in Kansas, Arizona State. Let's get into this one though from the Utah Utes standpoint. Coming off that 23-10 loss at home versus Arizona. It was ugly. It was a bad loss. Now, of course, Rising wasn't there. It was Wilson at quarterback who went 20 for 40 for 280 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He didn't look good. I mean, they lose 23-10 as 7.5-point favorites at home in front of their raucous crowd. So it was a very ugly spot here. Let's go over the line history and the cash flow and then hand it over to our guys. We have Utah right now as 5.5-point road favorites, 5.5 and minus 106. This opened up -4. And I guess, again, you don't want to get too caught up in these market moves because so much of it is based on is Rising in or not. Because there was thoughts that he would be playing. This went up to 6.5, then back to 4, and then he's going to be playing up to 6 again. We have had a point. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry,
Okay.
I thought you were about to hand it off. I was just going to say, I think that this is one of those games where it's like the question is going to be in the trenches. Rising don't really change the cap on this game for me. I'm interested to see what Winetine says.
Well, we have still a 1.5 move towards Utah. On the total, we have a 47. This opened up at 45 and has climbed to 47. And when we get to the cash flow here on this one, you have 59% of the tickets, 59% of the cash on the Utes, 88% of the tickets, 96% cash on the over. Take it away for us here. Kelly McInnes believes Rising will be in. Robert Franklin says Arizona State if Rising is out. Take it away, Wine Time. Utes, Sun Devils at Mountain America Stadium.
Yeah, Jim, a game I'm really excited about. I'm going to be super locked into this one. You know, I locked in my plays on this one this morning for this matchup. Really excited for this one. For everyone in the chat out there, yes, Cam Rising will be playing in this one. He had a full day of practice yesterday from everything I've been hearing. He looked really good actually out there without his finger brace. That being said, though, this guy's played, 2 games of football in the last 2 years. He had 6 touchdowns against whoever they faced in week 1 or week 2. The last start he had, Didn't look super great, honestly. And I mean, how's he supposed to? This guy's rusty out there. I mean, he's a 7th-year guy. He knows this offense probably better than, honestly, Kyle Whittingham, the offensive coordinator, but it's still going to take some repetitions for him to get out there with this new offense that, they've been turning over players and stuff the last couple of years. So a lot of these guys are newer. So with that being said, guys, let's get right into it. Kenny Dillingham, man, it's crazy to think, guys. I don't know if you knew about this, but he was a linebackers coach for a local high school team in San Diego about 6 years ago, and he's now the head coach of the Arizona State, Sun Devils here in Tempe. Came over from Oregon, ran a high-powered offense, knew how to get recruits in there, the right players. He brought Bo Nix over. He got Dante Moore to commit there before he ended up turning over because he went to ASU. This is a guy that your players want to go out and they want to play for. This guy's got ASU heading in the right direction every way, honestly. Utah, on the other hand, we were on them a couple weeks ago. This is I joke about it with DJ Big Boss on the time saying that Utah's my team because I never fade them. I have nothing but good things to say about this team, about the program, about the head coach. With that being said, guys, it's going to be one of the first times I fade Utah in a spot like this. I'm on ASU. Give you the best number available, +5.5, +6. I think that they're going to be able to run the football against them, especially as it gets hotter throughout the night, or not hotter throughout the night, but it's going to stay warm throughout the night, and they're going to go after them. ASU's got a really good explosive running back, Cam Scatabo. This guy's hard to take down. He's 5'11", 220. This guy's getting 25 to 30 touches a game. He's getting catches out of the backfield. This guy with the ball in his hand is explosive, and he's hard to take down. This guy's going to be going after these Utah linebackers and these defensive linemen that he's going to force them to tackle him 20 to 30 times this game. You look at ASU, their quarterback, they bring over Sam Levitt from Michigan State. This guy's doing everything he's asked for in this Kenny Willingham defense. He's running the ball really well. He's scoring touchdowns on the ground. He's kind of being a more game time manager through the air. He's not being asked to do too much, which is perfect for this offense. This is a run-first offense. They run the read option a lot with these two guys. They know what they're doing out there. They're playing really well together. Utah, I was on them a couple weeks ago with Jose. We had a stake bet on that game against the Oklahoma State game. I was on the Utah side. They took care of business. I thought Cam Rising was going to play, and that Isaac Wilson ended up playing. We saw who OK State is now, and so I don't think that's too impressive of a win for Utah, considering it was in Stillwater. I mean, West Virginia just blew those guys out last week in Stillwater. With that being said, guys, Utah got a really good running back over there, and Micah Bernard playing really well right now. Expect to see him a lot. Utah likes to run the ball. Cam Rising is a game-time manager. I mean, he makes the big-time throws, but he knows his offense. He likes to run a slow offense. He likes to take his time. He gets the ball to his playmakers and see what they can do. So with that being said, I'm on the under as well. I think both these teams are going to try to run the ball, and it's going to be tough to score in the red zone, especially for Utah, especially for Cam Rising. This guy's played 2 games last 2 years. That being said, I'm on ASU. I think they're going to get him outright in this one, guys. I love this Utah team. I love their program, but I just think even if Cam Rising is going to play tonight, it's not going to be enough against an Arizona State team that's looking really good right now in the Big 12. They're going to keep it rolling. So give me Arizona State plus the points and the under, the best number available, Jim.
+5.5 is available, -106. The +6 is -118.
Give me the +6 -118.
You got it. ASU +6 -118.
I mean, also, I forgot to mention this, guys. This ASU team, they're playing some actually good Big 12 football. They're playing physical up front on the offensive line. They're protecting their quarterback. I mean, look at what these quarterbacks are going off for in their yards and the running back. They're getting yards on the ground. The defensive line is playing really well. This ASU team is heading in the right direction. I didn't think they were going to be playing this well a ball, honestly. After this, they could be 5-1. They could be ranked and could be a team that's going under their radar in this spot. But it just shows with the Kenny Dillingham effect, man. His players are buying in. He's a younger coach. He's all about his players. He's a player's coach. I love Arizona State in this spot, guys.
Arizona State Skunk Blaster on the money line. We have Wine Time on them +6 at -118 and the under 47 at -112. Daby Cab, take it away. Utes, Sun Devils.
Man, I love competition. I love it. It's like one of my favorite things. It's why I like to gamble. But I need conviction on anything I do. I don't like to half-ass things. And it's so funny because Dutch texted me this morning talking about how he thinks Arizona State is live. Shout out to my guy Dutch. Him and I go back and forth a ton on college football. He has a lot of action that he doesn't, talk about on here on the shows with us. Dutch gambles a lot on the college football. And like I said earlier with you, I don't like talking friends off dogs, Jimmy. So I just said, I don't know. I just responded. I said, I don't know. I didn't want to be a dick and tell him, look, I think Utah, because I told you guys right off the top of this, I have not been able to look into these as deep as I want. Only thing that I'm able to go off of is what I've seen. I think the books know what Wine Time knows. If Cam Rising is playing, I think they already know that. If he had a full practice yesterday, they know that also, right? So maybe they haven't adjusted for a reason. And I was thinking about taking Utah early at -3 in this game, but the fact that he's only played 2 football games in the past, 2 years, right? I don't have the conviction to go against 2 cappers that I respect. I was just leaning on the fact that Utah had an extra week of preparation here. And Arizona State's going to have to run the ball. That's what they do. They're a run-heavy football team. They want to run the football, and Utah's got like the 30th or 32nd ranked run.
They're
defense.
good against the run too. That's where it is difficult. I mean, Kyle Whittingham in those trenches, man, he's always good. I mean, in the Pac-12, they were the best in the trenches every single year, that Utah team, man.
Yeah, so I wish I had more conviction to sit here and stand on something, but I don't. Not against these guys here. Not enough to do it. So we'll stay off here.
Do you think, as people know that Rising's playing, that there will be a 6?
Yeah, I mean, Jim, we saw last night.
I think the number that matters most.
Yeah, I mean, so it opened up at, again, what was it, Jim? 4.5, you said?
Well, some books opened it at 3.
See, the thing about that too is, Jim, I think that they had plans that Wilson was going to be starting until Cam Rising had a full practice yesterday. I mean, Cam Rising could still not play tonight, guys. I mean, he was practicing last year too. It's just, I don't know what they're doing over there. The Utah fans are really upset. All the podcasts I follow from the Utah side, all those fans are really upset, the fan base, with what he's doing, because he's just keeping everything and not telling anybody anything on who's going to play. He could not play for this one. And if he doesn't play, it doesn't matter though if Cam Rising plays or not. I think Arizona State can beat these guys outright with or without him, because Isaac Wilson, this is going to be a hostile environment for him too in Tempe. These fans are starting to show out now again in Arizona State, and they're going to be here for this Friday night matchup. Even though it's hot out there, they should be showing out there for this one. And, Wilson did start in Stillwater against Oklahoma State and played well, but we know Oklahoma State now, and they're not a good team this year. So with that being said, yeah, it's just, I think it's a clear Arizona State spot. Either way, if Cam plays or not, I'd prefer if he didn't. At the same time, he's played 2 games last 2 years. It's tough, man.
Yeah, but he's 40 years old.
Yeah.
That's not the age advantage. All right. Wine Time on the under 47 at -112, and Arizona State +6 at -118. We roll on to Saturday action here. We start at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. This is a spot that our guy Daby Cab wanted to talk about, as Wine Time broke this one down and got us on USC +6. This line has moved drastically in USC's direction. Feels like a nice spot. The 2 losses, I mean, it's tough for USC on the road. At Michigan 27-24, at Minnesota 24-17. Yep. They got to be champing here in this opportunity to come back home and play a Penn State team who we haven't seen travel since August. They haven't traveled since August when they beat up West Virginia 34-12. This Penn State team in their last 3 wins, all at home, Kent State, Illinois, UCLA, have allowed 18 points over those 3 games. So this defense looks very, very strong. Let's get into the line history here. We're going to start with our guy, Daby Cab. This is a game he wanted to talk about, and then we'll hear Wine Time go back over his plan and how he feels about this line move that's moved drastically in his favor. Again, he got us in on the 6. Now, it did cost us a little bit. I forget.
-122, I think, for you, Jim. I got -120.
Okay, yeah, that rings a bell. And I thought a lot about taking the 5.5, and I was like, do I really need to do this? And the only reason why I did it was because you had done it. And I was like, you know what? I'll just take the same number, even if it costs me a little bit of money. Now we're at 3.5, a violent move towards the Trojans. Now at Pinnacle, this was never a 6. Well, you had to pay for it. It was an alternate line. Opened up at 5.5 and has moved to 3.5. So we have the 2-point move towards the Trojans. Let's get to the total here in this one. Again, this one popping off at 3:30 p.m. After this, we have 2 late games that we will be talking about. Then we will Camel Race for $50. We have the total here at 51 minus 110. This total has just been climbing. Opens up at 47.5 back on the 6th of October. Then on Tuesday, it moves to 48. Then on Wednesday, we get to 50. And then this morning, 51. Just a massive move to the over, especially when the Penn State team's allowed 18 points over the last 3 football games. When we get to the cash in this one, sorry, just give me 1 second to get to these 3:30 games. We have, my bad, I should have, here we go. 85% of the tickets and 87% of the cash on Penn State. I mean, that's just, I know it.
For what reason, too? For what reason, man? What have these guys shown us so far this season, man?
So I'm going to be quick. You guys already got a breakdown, and you just said it. So I tweeted it out, by the way. I got USC first half at +3. So I'm on USC with you guys, and it's moved. You can't get that anymore. I'm sorry. The game looks like it's almost at 3 now. But I got USC first half at +3, and I did post it for everyone. And I was so happy. It's minus 115, but I was so happy that I could get it because I had to wait for my book to finally drop it. And then I got the 3 and I was thinking, I'm going to get 2.5 by the time it comes. But no, I got the 3 and I posted it out there for everyone. It was still available. It's just, look, USC, I know that Minnesota's a bad loss. I know Michigan's a bad loss and Michigan's not as good of a football team, but you're still on the road in Michigan. I'm not saying we can forgive those, but Moss had a couple interceptions that if he doesn't force throws in situations, I think USC could very, very easily be an undefeated football team right here. And then this line is much closer to 3, 2.5 or a pick 'em with USC at home if they're undefeated. And you look at what's more likely here. Do you think USC gets, because I always like to look at implied scores in college football. And this one would be Penn State 27, USC 23.5. So let's say, what do you think's more likely, right? Like Penn State to get into the 30s, get a little over that 27 number, or USC to get, mid-20s, 30s. This is going to be a competitive football game right down to the very end. Whoever has the football last might win. I think USC's live on the money line, but I got +3 in the first half, so that's good enough for me right there.
USC first half +3.
And another thing, sorry to keep doing this, Penn State has not had a road environment for a competition yet. And in college football, that matters so much more than it does in any other sport anywhere. People were talking about, does it matter with pitching in baseball? And I didn't really get to weigh in on it. Another time I will, if we bring it up. But the environment in college football matters more than any other sport.
Well, I feel you. Lex Steele says over 50.5 looks like a steal. If not, I'm still taking Penn State race to 10. Penn State money line first half. We have 75% tickets, 78% cash on the over, and it's climbed all the way up to 51. I know that you've broken this one down, and you don't need to go through it all one time, but tell me how you feel with this market move heavily in your direction, and why was it that you expected that to happen, and why you're on USC?
Yeah, Jim, this is a game I actually really want to talk about again, honestly, because we might have an extra play in this one too, honestly, if we're being honest. Penn State, look at what they've been doing this season. They had that big win in Morgantown. My guy Ron Crawford touched on it. They hammered West Virginia in Morgantown. It's the most impressive win they've had this season. It was on the road in a hostile environment. That West Virginia team didn't really seem up to play, and there was also tornado warnings. They had to get it on off the field. It was a complete mess in Morgantown. With that being said, man, Cab already touched on it. USC should very well be undefeated in this spot. I talked about this with Jose last week. We were on Minnesota. I told him on Wednesday they were going to get USC outright. It was just a Minnesota spot in Minnesota, a hostile environment. PJ Fleck, everything's on the line for him right now these next couple games. He came up with a big win, one of the biggest wins since he's been the coach over there at Minnesota. That being said, USC, man, they should have beat Michigan in the big house in front of 110,000 strong. They lost on play with about less than a minute left on 4th and short, around the 5-yard line. I forgot where it was exactly, but this USC team's fighting, man. I'm usually a guy that fades USC in a lot of spots. This was the season where I told myself, though, this is like the time to bet USC. Not a lot of people are on their side. Not a lot of people are believing in Lincoln Riley and this new quarterback Miller Moss going into this season. They grabbed that running back out of Mississippi State, who's been an absolute hammer for them. They expect him to get involved in this one as well. But Penn State, man, they couldn't put up 30 against UCLA team, and the only reason they put up as many points as they did is because with about a minute left in the first half, they threw a 50-yard pass downfield and were able to get in the end zone. That game should have been 7-3 going into half. I've watched a lot of UCLA football this year. They've definitely had a hard schedule, but they're definitely not a very good football team. And Penn State had trouble with them pretty much until the fourth quarter. So with that being said, man, how is Penn State going to be able to score 30 in this one against a USC defense that grabbed UCLA's coordinator last year, Jansen Lin? He has these guys playing at a very good level at home. This is where they win. They're going to win at home in Big Ten play. It's going to be tough for them to go on the road and win these certain environments, Iowa, Minnesota, Michigan, different environments like that. It's going to be tough for them. But Lincoln Riley, I believe in this guy, man. His job's on the line here this season almost, it seems like. And you hear him in the press conference. He's still very confident in this team and confident in his offense and defense, and pretty much saying that they should be undefeated at this point if it wasn't for a couple plays at the end of the game. So with that being said, guys, we're on USC. I gave it out with Jose at +6. I think they're going to get him outright. I think that USC wins this game outright. Penn State, this is the worst number 4 team in the nation I've ever seen. Drew Allers, very overrated. Can't throw the football downfield. Another question, guys, is Singleton going to play? He didn't play last week. Their number 1 running back. What's going on with him? A lot of question marks about that. I still haven't heard any news. I follow all their stuff too. If he's going to be playing tomorrow or not, if anyone has any information in the chat, let me know. But that's going to be a big deal in this one. Maybe that's why the line keeps moving towards USC. Not only that, I don't know who is betting USC with this absurd amount of money, but someone is putting some big-time bets on them, and that's why they're adjusting this line down to 3.5. It's got to be a couple people, sharp bettors, that really know this and that are moving this line down. You look at all the money's on Penn State, guys. USC, they're going to get them outright in this one. Big win for Lincoln Riley here at USC.
And Kent Davies says Rivers limited him on this money line bet. So that's a big sign here.
That is. I was also, Jim, I forgot to mention this. I am leaning what I wanted to talk about. Why I kind of mentioned this to both teams. I mean, Penn State, how are they going to score 30? Penn State does have a good defense, though, so it's going to be tough for USC to score 30. With that being said, I think if I can get an under 51 in this spot, I'm not going to move on it right here or that. I'll text you later. I'll make it official on Twitter. But I might move on this under if I can get a 51 at a decent number, because I do think this doesn't hit 50 in this game.
Well, you can get an under 51 at a decent number. I can give it to right now, under 51 minus 110.
Yeah, give it to me. Let's do it. I think this doesn't hit 45, and we're being quite honest. Honestly, I see this being like a 23-20 victory for USC. Either way, I think USC takes care of business here. I like Cab's bet on the first half too, because I think USC is going to be leading this whole entire game, honestly. And if they get up early, guys, look for them to kind of, I don't know if Penn State, how they're going to be able to throw the ball against this USC secondary, who has some good cornerbacks, has some good safeties out there. We know about their linebacker play. So yeah, it's going to be tough for Penn State to score here, in which I think is going to be a very hostile environment at USC. People are going to show out for this one. Number 4 team in the nation coming at home. You're now only a 3.5-point dog. Like, man, I don't know how anyone could take Penn State in this spot. They could get it done. Don't get me wrong, but all the tape that I've watched, the market, seeing this line movement, everything adds up to this being a USC spot.
Gorky saying that USC has 12 people in the stands, and Jimmy's Teeth saying half the fans in attendance are the band. Against Whiskey, they had 74,118 fans there, and the Memorial Stadium only fits 77.5.
Yeah, and also, Jim, too, you have to think Penn State, all their fans, there's going to be there's probably, I'm going to guess maybe 5,000 to 8,000 Penn State fans there, too. I'm going to guess at least probably 50,000 USC fans for this one. This is a big match. This is one of the biggest games at the Coliseum here for them, and a game that they need for Big Ten play, guys. They need this. They already lost to Michigan and Minnesota. They lose this game. Their college football hopes, their Big Ten title hopes, that's all wiped right down the drain.
Great stuff. We have our guy, Daby Cab, on USC first half +3. That was tweeted out. Not available anymore, but tweeted out. Very important to follow these guys on X. They put all of their action out on X, and any game that we talk about, they can add to it and things like that. Remember, both of these cappers have much better records on their overall record than they do on our show record. It's just games that we talk about here on the show, and also on the under 51 here for Wine Time Sports. Let's roll on. For the goat says just took the under 50.5 there. And NCAA play of the day from Ron Crawford is Arizona State plus 5.5. Arizona State plus 5.5. Wow. We have Skunt Blaster on Arizona State money line. We have Wine Time on Arizona State plus 6. And now Ron Crawford has the NCAA play of the day here on the 5.5. Shout out to our guy, Mr. Ron Crawford. All right, let's roll.
If one more person I respect
continue on, guys. I'll be back in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, no worries, my man. Sorry, say what, David?
If one more person I respect makes that bet, I might have to gain the conviction to go with my Utah first half. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I hear you. It's fascinating that everybody's so bullish with Rising back. I guess that the line's now moved to the point where it's just too far. Wild. Okay, let's roll into our next spot on the board. 8 p.m. Eastern. We have the number 11 ranked Iowa State Cyclones, 5-0, 2-0 in the Big 12 at West Virginia Mountaineers, 3-2, 2-0 in the Big 12. We're in Morgantown, West Virginia. It's very nice weather for football. 60 Fahrenheit, clear, 4 miles per hour. Iowa State beat up on Houston 20-0, destroyed Arkansas State 52-7, won at Iowa 20-19. Last week they beat Baylor and they beat them badly at home 43-21. This team is rolling. 542 yards of offense, had the ball for 35 minutes and 54 seconds, and easily covered the 12.5. It was 19-14 at the break. They were down 14-3, and then they took over. At that point, took over the game completely, outscoring them 40-7 through the rest of that football game. That is your Cyclones here. These Cyclones traveling to Morgantown. This West Virginia team has looked good at home, except for that first game of the year, at home against Penn State. Other than that, they looked very good. Jose, can we switch our thank you, my man, configuration?
You're welcome.
All right, let's
producer Jose, aka Cabby.
Thank you, Cabby. Let's roll here. Let's go over the line history and the cash flow, and then hear what our guys want to do. This total is climbing. We have a 53 and just 53, but some books are at 53.5. This is 53, juice to the over. Opened up at 51, a 2-point move and juice towards the over. On the point spread for this one on this spread, let's get this up here. We have right now Iowa State -3 at -110. This opened -3 at -108. We're talking Sunday at 6:15 p.m. -3, -108, and within an hour it's a -3.5. I mean, that's a big move. Bounces back to 3, and again it gets bet so much it moves to 3.5. And now we're talking about Monday. Then it goes to 3, back to 3.5. We keep playing this back and forth, but that's the end of it. This since Tuesday morning, this has just been a 3. That's it. There was a point where this was juiced to -117. There's been a 7-cent move towards West Virginia this today. So let's go into the cash flow and then hand it over. Cash flow wise, we have 73% of the tickets, 73% of cash on Iowa State. We have 96% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the over. We're talking about 16,438 bets in this one. Wine Time, take it away. Cyclones, Mountaineers, Morgantown.
Yeah, man, Jimmy, talk about this game here. It's going to be playing at 8 o'clock over there in West Virginia side of town in Morgantown. This place is going to be rocking and rolling, man. This is going to be a very hostile environment in Morgantown, guys. Talking about West Virginia, a disappointing loss against Penn State at home on the opener. I came on here and I talked to Jimmy about that game. I was on West Virginia in that spot. A lot of weird things happened in that game where they had to stop playing, start playing again with the tornado, whatever warnings were going on over there. We shouldn't have any of that confusion in this game, guys, today. That being said, man, Iowa State, shout out to my guy Matt Campbell over there, man, doing a great job with the Cyclones, completely turning this program around with not a lot of NIL money. Going to a school like Iowa State, kind of in the middle of nowhere. Great place to go to school, though. Great place for football, and these guys have completely bought into this guy's system. I love what he's doing over there, man. That being said, his most impressive win this year was against Iowa in a hostile environment as well. Both fan bases show out to that one, but they ended up coming out with the win in that one. They were down most of the whole game. They ended up coming back the second half, winning the game. Look at West Virginia on the other side, man. They've been playing some really good ball ever since that Penn State game. They're 2-0 in Big 12 play. Both these teams are 2-0 in Big 12 play. It's kind of crazy to think, guys. This West Virginia team's completely flying under the radar. I don't know if you guys have seen their schedule the rest of the season. They don't face another ranked opponent this year, though. This could be very much a West Virginia Big 12 conference right here if they can get a win here in Morgantown against Iowa State, a team that has a lot right now, and they've got a really good quarterback, Rocco Beck, that's playing some really big-time football right now, man. I talk about these kids. These kids don't go out there and play for NIL money. They're out there playing for themselves and their coach and their city. We talk about West Virginia. What do they like to do? They like to run the ball at an extremely elite rate with Jaheim White and CJ Donaldson, two running backs really good out of West Virginia. They run the ball at a 61% rate. That's 19th in the nation. They have a really good offensive line that's protecting their quarterback, Garrett Green, who's not asked to do too much, really a game-time manager. I mean, I think he had like less than 10 completions in his last game. But this team's just getting it done on the ground because it's hard to stop these two running backs, these ground and pound guys, especially when you get to the second half of the games when you're having your linebackers forced to tackle these guys 20 to 40 times a game. I think if Garrett Green can be a game time manager in this one, if he can limit turnovers, not have a lot of turnovers, they can win this game outright, guys. I think Iowa State, this is probably going to be the most hostile environment they've entered this season. They're the 11th team in the nation, man, I do see the line. I think the line opened up at a 2.5, maybe a 3, Jim. I'm not sure if you touched on it. Something around that, though, and it is moving towards them. With that being said, though, I am on West Virginia. I got the plus 3.5, minus 110, gave it out already. Really like this spot for them. I think they can get them outright. I think they have everything to play for in this spot. Iowa State actually has a pretty tough schedule ahead of them, but they also have a lot of home games, and Iowa State at home is very good. On the road, they've been playing well too, but this is just going to be a hostile environment where I think West Virginia is going to pound the rock at will. They're going to be able to do whatever they want to them, and they're going to be able to get this win. It's the blackout game for West Virginia. It's at 8 o'clock. It's going to be completely black out there. Look for West Virginia to win this game outright, but give me the plus 3.5.
Ah, what a fascinating breakdown. The Mountaineers in Morgantown. Daby Cab, what do you think of this spot?
Yeah, I think the line tells you enough. I mean, a number 11 ranked team. We've seen it all year. I obviously Missouri A&M is the one I want to point out because I was so happy to be live for that game and see what.
I was stoked for that one too. Cab got me on that one behind the scenes.
Yeah, Weinstein heard a phone call I had about betting that game, and I didn't even know he could hear me backstage.
I was backstage before the tailgate. I heard him talking to his dad about Texas A&M. I was like, why am I not on this game? I'm taking it right now.
I'm trying to – my pops don't even gamble. I was trying to convince him. I was like, listen, Dad, like this is the time to do it right here. But, okay, so – or I can use another example with Washington, right? Same day that game was the same situation with the spread there. I know this one's not necessarily – them as an underdog, but 3.5, man, that's still pretty damn low. And I think it opened 2.5 is what you guys said. Yeah, I think this is going to be another game like the Penn State USC game. It comes down to who has the football last. And in a situation like that, you don't want to have to cover more than a field goal. So for me, West Virginia or pass.
God, I think I want to get involved in this one. Great breakdown, fellas. Let's get into our final game here on the program. Then we race for $50. We camel race for $50. This is the big one. MMA Locker Room be wanting us to talk about this one. 10:15 p.m. Eastern. The 18th ranked Kansas State Wildcats, Millsy's Kansas State Wildcats, 4-1, 1-1 in the Big 12. At the Colorado Buffaloes, 4-1, 2-0 in the Big 12. So we just talked a big Big 12 meeting between Iowa State and West Virginia. And then now we have Kansas State and Colorado. These are the big teams here. Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado, 65 Fahrenheit, partly cloudy, 3 miles per hour. Let's get into the setup here for this one. Kansas State bounced back from that ugly 38-9 loss at BYU by beating up on Oklahoma State 42-20 at home. And the Buffaloes are rolling right now. One 28-10 loss at Nebraska, but other than that, beat Baylor 38-31 in overtime and then beat up on UCF at UCF 48-21 last out. Take a look at the line history here. We have Kansas State minus 3.5 and minus 101. They opened up minus 5.5. This has just been a constant move towards the Buffaloes from 5.5 down to 3.5, a 2-point move towards Colorado. And then when we see the total, here in this one. Let's get this up and at them. From a total perspective, we have Kansas State, Colorado at 56.5. This is slightly juiced to the under, and this has not moved. This has not moved. This opened up at 56.5, and we're talking it's gone down to minus 107 or up to minus 113. It has not moved a cent from the opening number at minus 110. And that's with 90% of the tickets on the over and 93% of the cash on the over. How the hell do we not bet this under right now? Wine time, take it away. Wildcats, Buffaloes at Folsom Field.
Yeah, Jim, if you want to get that under, and I'd get it in right now, yeah, because that's what I'm about to say too in this spot. I'm on 2 spots in this game, guys. This is a game I didn't have anything on going into last night. I really looked over this game for probably a good hour and a half, honestly, watching some tape between both of these teams, man. And what I've been seeing is Colorado, man. Talk about a team that's really been playing a really good football these last couple of weeks. Talk about how they should have had a loss to Baylor. Game I'll never forget because I was so heavy on Baylor in that spot. This Colorado team's coming to life, and this run defense only keeps getting better and better each week, which is what they're going to need to do to stop this Kansas State team. Talk about get-ins. See my guy Money Mills in the chat right there, man. Shout out to him. I know he's a big K-State fan, big on get-ins. He's been cashing a lot on his props, as he should. This guy's an elite running back right now in the Big 12, man. Probably the best running back in the Big 12. He's going to be an NFL-type running back. It's if Colorado can stop him, honestly. I'm not too worried about Avery Johnson. Yeah, this guy had a big game on the ground against Oklahoma State. He had some big-time throws to his playmakers that were in open space and were able to just outrun Oklahoma State defenders. Hate to say this, Jose. I know you're behind the scenes. You're my guy, but Oklahoma State is not a good team this year. So with that being said, I don't count that as an impressive win for K-State. I was on Oklahoma State in that game, and that proved a lot of things for me. Look at Colorado on the other side. They're only getting better and better coming in this game 4-1, man. They win this game right here. They're probably going to be in the rankings zone with all the hype right now. It's going to be played in Boulder, Colorado, man. It's going to be a hostile environment. We see the Coach Prime effect, whether people don't want to admit it or not, whether they've been successful. I mean, they're successful this year at a 4-1 record right now. They're bringing fans out to the stands, man. These games used to be empty. They got NIL money. People are excited to go to Colorado University. He's doing a lot for the program. No matter what happens after the Sanders era, shout out to him for doing what he's done for Boulder. But with that being said, man, I think Colorado can get these guys outright. Kansas State, I think their schedule's a little flawed. They had a big win against, Arizona. Let me look at their schedule really quick. But Colorado, man, I see them getting better and better each week, especially on the run defense. And we talk about Travis Hunter making those big-time plays when they need him to make these big-time plays. It seems like he's always open. When they need a big-time play, Travis Hunter's always open, and Sanders is going to get the ball in his hands. Their run attack is definitely sus. But you look at Kansas State, man, big 22 win over Oklahoma State, a team that's not very good. They got blown out by BYU, a team that's, making some noise over there in the conference as well. You look at Arizona, they blew them out. Arizona's kind of they've been hit or miss every single week, and same with this Kansas State team. And after that hit 2 weeks ago and coming into a bye, I think this is going to be a big miss for them. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. I don't think this hits 50. I got the under 56 minus 110. I'm also on the Colorado. I bought up, though. I bought up to minus 20, plus 4 minus 120. So I'm on Colorado plus 4 minus 120 and the under 56 minus 110. It's all official, given out on X this morning. I don't think this hits 50, guys. Colorado's defense is getting better. Warren Sapp, shout out to him over there. He's not the D coordinator. He's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes as an analyst, doing good things for him. A lot of people were saying sus why he was behind the scenes in this, but he's doing his job over there. And this team is actually buying in. This wasn't a team I was high on going into this year, but I'm getting higher on them each week because I think they're starting to believe in each other.
Sappy, our guy Warren Sappy, he needs every dollar he can get as well. He better put his head down and work and do what he's fucking told. How about that, Sappy? I love the look. What do you think about K-State team total under 30.5? I mean, doesn't that
I haven't even looked at team totals, but yeah, that sounds good to me because I don't think Kansas State's going to be able to put 30 up against Colorado, honestly. 20, 24 max probably, but I see this more of as a 27-24 type of game probably, honestly, which would equal to about, 51? So, it might hit 50, honestly. I think this is going to be settled by 3 to 6 points, either way you look at it. We've seen what Colorado's done. They made some magical plays, guys, stuff that, you don't think is going to happen, and it happens. It's pretty wild to see that. That Baylor play, I'll never forget that play at the end of regulation. and them scoring in overtime and then forcing a fumble on the 1 yard line to Baylor when they're about to put it in the end zone. It's just this team's playing with some kind of edge right here. And I'm starting to buy into this Colorado program. So a team that needs this win, K-State, a team that's inconsistent this year. They've been on or off pretty much all game. I respect their running attack with Giddens. He's probably going to be the best player on the field for Kansas State. Obviously not the best player on the field because you got Travis Hunter out there. But he might have a good game. But I want to see if Avery Johnson can attack this secondary from Colorado as well. I don't believe in Avery Johnson. I think the tape's out on him, and he doesn't look impressive. He's a small guy out there too. He needs to get more involved with his legs. I don't know why he's not using his legs as much. He used them against Oklahoma State, which got him 2 touchdowns, and I believe 50 on the ground. But I mean, if they're going to want to win this game, he's going to have to get involved on the ground because he's not going to get it done through the air.
I love the breakdown, and I shouldn't have said that about Warren Sapp because you shouldn't say anything you wouldn't say to a man's face, and I would not say that to old Sappy. Guy is a big boy. He's a big boy. He's a big boy. So I shouldn't have said that. I tried to keep that a rule that don't say anything you wouldn't say to someone's face. I would not say that to Warren Sapp's face. Daby Cab, take it away. Kansas State Wildcats, Colorado Buffaloes at Folsom Field. You making a move on this one?
This is a huge game. I'm so excited to see what happens here. I'm so interested, and I loved listening to Wine Time's breakdown. Him and Dutch must talk also because this is the only other game that Dutch texted me about, talking about how he liked Colorado.
Oh, wow. Let's go.
Or excuse me, he said Maryland also, but I think he came in here and gave that out in the chat. First quarter, if I'm not mistaken. But look, I get it, and I want to believe in Colorado too. I like Coach Prime. I've been a fan of him, even when they were, in the media last year and it was all back and forth. It's nice to have people not talking about it as much. As somebody like I like to use A&M as an example. Man, when they get overrated and they're put in like 9th or 10th place for no fucking reason, they didn't earn it, or they get too much attention. Attention is not a good thing. You don't want attention, right, in sports. And Colorado's been getting a little less attention, even though they're winning more, which is interesting to see. I don't really understand it. But all that being said, I am a fan. I still think Nebraska is the only team that has come out and punched them in the mouth. The only time that I've bet against Colorado this year was when I took Nebraska. And I think Kansas State could have the ability to do the same thing. I hate to be that guy, but I kind of could see this being one of those. We're going to find out how good is Colorado's D-line. Can they really stop the run? Are they really able to stop a smash mouth team? We're going to see here. I was considering taking Kansas State early because with all of Colorado's I don't want to call it luck, but late game like magic. I wouldn't want to be involved against them late in the game. But early, I think they might get hit in the mouth a little bit. So I'll tweet it out if I bet it and tag you, Jimmy.
Yeah, I could see it too, Cab, because, like you said, this is a lot like they could punch him right in the mouth with Giddens. Giddens might go for 200 yards here. You know what I mean? He could have one of those. Is Kansas State not a better Nebraska? I need to see. For me, it's more of I need to see Kansas State doing on a consistent basis against pretty consistent teams. And Colorado's been playing some consistent football. If they get it done here in Boulder, I think this is going to be a big win for them. Don't get me wrong; they could get this. They could get this game. They can cover the spread. I just think it's kind of crazy. Everyone is. We're looking at the market right here, guys. Everyone's always on Colorado, and the love is starting to fade away. We're seeing 26% of bets, 27% of money on Colorado. The line's going down in their favor. It's usually the opposite way. It's usually the other team has the 20% of bets, 25% of money. This is at home in Colorado, too. I'm actually very surprised that the public is very heavily involved in Kansas State because, don't get me wrong, they played a really good game in Stillwater. Give it out to Avery Johnson. He really showed out in that game. Looked really good. If he looks the way he did in that game, it's going to be tough for Colorado to stop him.
Oklahoma State's not a good football team. And obviously BYU was a bad loss. The win that impressed me for Kansas State would probably be Tulane, I guess, which, people looked at as, they didn't cover the spread. It's not a good win, but Tulane's shown to be a pretty good football team. So,
but Tulane outplayed them in that football game. Tulane outplayed them. Tulane was in control. Tulane was up, 20-10 going the third quarter, up 27-20 in the fourth quarter. They had 95 more yards of offense. They had the ball for 7 more minutes. I think that the looking at the Wildcats, who are a really good football team, but you look at the 2 road games, they don't cover against Tulane. They get beaten up by BYU. I don't think we should get caught up in them smashing Arizona, Oklahoma State. We know what the Purple People Eaters do at home. different on the road. And I'm surprised that Colorado is not more public.
Me too.
And I imagine that will change here as we get closer to the game.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see before, because guys, this is the late night game. You know, by the time everyone's done with their bets, they're going to be chasing this late night action. You know, it's going to be interesting to see what everyone takes as it gets closer. We might see a situation where it goes 35% of bets, 37% of money on Colorado. If it gets up to the 50% range, it might be a little bit tough. But this Colorado, I mean, we also have to keep in mind too, there's going to be so many stars on the sideline here in Colorado, and Colorado is actually used to this now. I kind of, in the beginning, I thought it was going to kind of get to their heads, all these celebrities on the sideline. They're all kind of used to it now. My question is, if when Kansas State sees all these celebrities on the sideline, if they're going to be able to keep their composure as well and kind of stay locked into just the game time and not who's watching them around them. That's another kind of thing I like to watch in these Colorado home games, because there are going to be a lot of people on the sidelines that a lot of people see on TV and that kind of look up to and stuff. It's going to be star-studded people on the sideline for Colorado. So I just think Colorado, they're ready for this. They're prepared for this. Dion has this team headed in the right direction. It's crazy to say this. I didn't think they'd be sitting here at 4-1 if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season. But they're here, man. And if they get this win here, they might be a legit Big 12 program.
Oh, it's a great breakdown. By the way, we have BJ and Scumblaster talking about the line move in the Dodgers game. And there's only 2 books where I don't see line movement towards the Dodgers, My Bookie and Will Hill. Every other book has at least 5 to 7 cents at minimum of line movement towards the Dodgers. And Millsy says this shit is going over. Y'all playing the under for real. I mean, Mills, everybody is playing the over in this one. 90% of the tickets and 93% of the cash.
And like I said, the inconsistency from Kansas State offense, it's 1 week they're on, 1 week they're off. Defense is off. It's just so much inconsistency over there. And I'm not a fan of Avery Johnson. I mean, to think that Will Howard left there because he was going to get beat out by this guy, it's kind of crazy to me at this point, honestly. Because Will Howard's over there might win a national championship with Ohio State. But that being said, man, like I said, if Avery Johnson, if he can get it done on the ground, this guy goes off for 80, 100 yards on the ground. Giddens goes off for 150 on the ground. They control the time of possession. That's their chance of winning this game. They're not going to win this game through the air, though, if you ask me.
Oh, great breakdown, fellas. Let's review all action here. We have on Friday night, our action starts, and both of these cappers, on our shows, including Loshak in the bag, the Peter Loshak show, Daby at 56.3%, Wine Time at 61%. You guys are doing a great job. We have Wine Time on the under 47 and Arizona State +6. That's in Utes, Arizona State. Ron Crawford gave us the college football play today, Arizona +5.5, and the Skunt Blaster. Leave it to the Skunt Bag play of the day to take it even further with Arizona State money line. Respect to our guy Cody Norton. Then on Saturday, we have Dab on USC first half +3 at -115, and we have Wine Time on the +6 at -120, and then Penn State USC under 51 is a Wine Time edition, and that line is available at Pinnacle as we speak. Then Wine Time's on West Virginia +3.5 at -110. You time that perfectly, getting that hook, the hook that's unavailable, or you have to pay for it.
Is it unavailable now?
I did not see any 3.5. So let me check once again here, because it went every time it goes to 3.5. Sharps come in and hammer it, and it goes away. Let's just see, because that look is very appealing to me. The 3-2 team against the undefeated team, the 3-2 team at home under a field goal. Yes, there are no 3.5s, and there are no 3.5s. No 3.5s. Now the 3 is slightly juiced to Iowa State, but it's got the 3.5 a couple times. Jermaine saying that 51 pretty high for USC, Penn State. Then in that Kansas State, Colorado Buffaloes game, I've got to figure out how to bet it because I don't want to triple up on it. But good God, do I want to have action at 10:15 p.m. on Saturday night? Kids asleep. It's perfect. And that's also our Thanksgiving night here because obviously Sunday's all football and not a family day. God, kids go to sleep and I got Kansas State, Colorado, Buffaloes. That is how I want to enjoy life. A great job from our guys, Wine Time Sports and Daby Cab. Please support these guys on X at Wine Time Sports, at Daby Cab, and watch them rock every Saturday. What a job being done here. I just nonstop positivity coming out from the big Saturday show. Can't find it now. Maybe Jose's got it. I got this. There we go. The tailgate every Saturday at 10 a.m. Daby, you're doing a spectacular job. I love all of the cappers jumping on and giving out their best bets. Thank you, Jose. Thank you for that. Ron Crawford says, love you guys. Great job. We love you, Ron. How much respect do we have for Ron Crawford? Man, we need to book his band for Pubapalooza 4. That's what we need here. We could have a full night of concerts because we'll get JPZ and LJ and then Ron Crawford's band come in, dude. God,
that'd be fun.
We can't wipe the smile off our faces, man. We'll be just so blunted and Daby zooms out and the band's playing. I mean, that sounds like heaven. And you go into the other room and then you got your 10 TVs and your studio and your fucking
such a sick setup, man. Such a sick setup.
I know. I want to get back in the studio. I hate that I'm not there more. It's too close for me not to be in that studio more.
I know, Cab, me and you got to get out there for one of these. I got to fly out there for one of these college football Saturdays and we go live from the studio, man. That would be sick. I will
meet you anytime that you decide to do that.
Okay.
That would be absolutely, oh God, it's so much fun. And so we're going to get the date set up too so that everybody can prepare in advance. I think it works for that first round of NCAA basketball. Spectacular job, you guys. Thank you so much. Wine Time and Daby Cab. Wine Time, any last words for the Capper Sporting Show?
Yeah, guys. Thanks for always having me, man. This is always a blast doing with you guys. With my guy Jimmy on Fridays. Now Daby Cab joining us too. Love that, man. Two of my favorite cappers out there, man. Especially to share the screen with. It's always a blessing, man. Never take this for granted. Shout out to my guy Jose on Wednesday, man. We beat a lot of these lines, man. I know he got in on a couple of these with me, man. It's cool to see some of these lines move towards our way as the week goes on, guys. But yeah, give me a follow on X, Wine Time Sports, man. Usually give out my plays for the week on Monday morning or Monday night, but I'm always adding plays throughout the week. I added plays this morning for the show. Just certain spots that I like throughout the week. I like to usually beat the line movement, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I need some time to think about the games and see where the lines go and see where the market is and just look at different things. But yeah, always appreciate you guys for having me, man. If you guys haven't watched any of the videos on PSR, man, all of them are posted from me, Daby Cab, Babano from this week, man. Go check them out. Hit the like button on them. All the complete breakdowns are on there, guys. But yeah, always a blessing to be here with you guys. Appreciate you guys.
There he is, our guy, Wine Time Sports. Daby Cab, huge day tomorrow for you, my friend. We have our guy, Justin McKelvey, saying he'll drop in for a play or two. I love what you're doing.
Perfect.
I love what you're doing on these Saturday mornings. Great job. Go get that cash, my man. Any last words for the Capper Sport and the show?
I mean, you already said it. We have a blast on Saturdays. Justin's going to drop in. Jimmy, I think, and I've got the numbers, so I got to look over them. Every capper but one person, and I wouldn't single out that person. Every capper but one person that's been on the show is positive. Like,
wow,
it's been just crazy. So we try to do our best to keep that going tomorrow. Just make sure you guys tune in, Justin. I'm excited as hell to have you up there, man. Jimmy, I love doing this with you. Hey, if you ever want to come give a best bet on a Saturday, you could pop on and off. It's real quick. Pop on and off. We'd love to have you open up too on Saturdays.
I'm down, man. I'm down. I'm down. What happens for me after the Thursday triple and then the Fridays, I'm just like destroyed, you know. But I love what you guys are doing. I'd like to get involved.
I don't sleep on Fridays going into Saturdays, so I completely get it. You know, the bets that I had, for anybody wondering, it's going to be mostly props. You know, I don't bring those here on this show usually. The props I'll have tomorrow, so I look forward to giving those out with you guys. And Jimmy, I love doing this. Let's get paid.
There he is, our guy, the Magic Man, Dabra Cadabra. I think it's time to bring back is he a founding father? One of our founding fathers. Oh, yeah, there he is. One of our founding fathers, Jose Bouquett, to this show. Jose, are we racing camels?
We are.
Oh, look at that. We are racing camels. Shout out to Juan Chavez for his victory yesterday, $50 richer. And we saw some separation in our last camel race. They weren't tightly bunched. A few of our camels fired out. I see Barry Roselle. Shout out to Barry Roselle there at the bottom. How many? And we thank you, gold members and members, so much. Truly, truly thank you. How many gold members do we have, Jose?
82, still striving to get to 100 so we can boost this pot. But 82 gold members joining us for this horse race again. We appreciate the 82 strong here.
It means a ton. It means a ton. Here we go. All the camels together. A big, big minute race. Jose will call the first 30 seconds. I'll close it off. Good luck to all of you. And truly thank you for supporting us at Pub Sports Radio. May the fastest camel win.
May the fastest camel win. Hear ye into what's forth. And we begin this lovely race here. And the music is blasting. Here we go. Cancel that. Thank you very much. Top set. Ye old top set. The Nasty Nate lead at the top of the pack. Sharon Pulliam, J-Dub, and Nutflush 16 in the mix as well. And there goes Helga. Her camel just suffered a cruciate injury. Dutch boy fresh in the mix here, Jimmy. Is Nasty Nate going to break this long drought he's got going on right now?
We don't want Nasty Nate to win. History is important. And we have a rich history of Nasty Nate's camel buckling under the pressure. But here comes O'Brien Palmer. O'Brien Palmer making a big move to the front, but he can't catch Ricky Levine, a multiple champion. Here comes Ken Wood. That camel is flying. That camel has gone right to the lead. Ken Wood wants to get paid, and his camel has a 2-length lead. Is anybody going to catch Ken Wood? Hip, hip, cheerio. Hip, hip, oh, David, get there. But it is Kong's Clips. The great Kong's Clips. Usurping both Jose Snips Bouquett and Ken Wood. Good God, was that the most exciting camel race in the history of camels? I believe it was. That was very exciting. Juan Ruiz looking to cash his fourth race in fourth. Ricky Bobby in fifth. Nunyan sixth. Good God, that was exciting. Ken Wood flies out of nowhere. Here comes Jose Bouquett to get paid in full, but Kong's Clip says, no, my camel is loaded and going to come home with it. Kong's Clips, $50 richer. God damn, that was an exciting camel race, Jose. I'm pumped up. I am pumped up, man.
That hurt my feelings. I'm not going to lie. I thought my camel had it by a gizzard. But it doesn't seem like it.
I don't know if camels have gizzards. In fact, I shouldn't say that. But it just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, don't we all have a gizzard?
The organ found in the digestive tract of some animals. So does a camel...
These are the important questions we need answered. By the way, Jimmy, I want to let you know. I want to put this on your radar for this weekend. Eastern Michigan, +2.5.
Ruminants have 4 compartments to their stomachs, while the camels have 3 compartments.
Sure.
No, there's no fucking gizzard in a camel. Don't put that fucking trash here. We're giving information, Jose. We are giving information. And it has to be legitimate information. And when you fuck with us about our favorite animal, now second, horse.
Well, third, also the greyhounds. I mean, come on.
No, camels have usurped. Camels have usurped the mighty greyhound. Jerk camel gizzard. Is yummy. Yes, Robert Franklin. Camels are gizzardless, and Jose this university graduate dropping this kind of information is it's unsettling.
Alum, baby.
It's unsettling.
But Eastern Michigan, Jimmy, put that on. I'm putting that on your radar. It's a bet for you this weekend, I imagine. I think if you look at the market, you'll enjoy what you see.
And we have that video on our.
We do indeed.
Okay.
We do indeed have.
Nasty Nate says, "Does a camel have a taint?"
I'd like to see you Google that one. Yeah, research that one.
Oh, I don't need the research. Of course, camels have taints. They have glorious taints. They're known in the animal kingdom as the animal with the finest taint in all of the land. In fact, it's the most erotic spot on a camel. A lot of people think it's the asshole. No, it is the taint. It's
also
camels.
the most erotic part on a man as well. I might be speaking from experience.
Yes, that would be your own experience. Yeah, that would be your own experience on that one.
To say?
Yeah.
By the way, Jimmy.
Yeah.
If the Padres lose tonight, we're in dangerous territory for me saying that a certain team is not going to win the World Series, and then they go out and to win the World Series. We're in dangerous territory.
Yes, if the Dodgers can win tonight with this pitching staff, I mean,
I will be the biggest Dodgers fan on this earth if it's Yankees Dodgers. Jesus Christ, just do not let the Yankees win the World Series, please.
Yankees Dodgers would be heaven on earth for Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that or the Mets. I'm sure that people would...
No, they would like the crowd, because what happens, I know that the Subway Series is big in New York, but the West kind of...
Yeah, no one would care about it there. But I mean, Ohtani and big time cookies there. So shout out to Pipe Player, who obviously I think is a plumber, right? That's why his name is that.
No, it's because he. Well, actually, I'll edit myself there. I will edit myself there. It was going to be a positive pipe. No, it was going to be a positive thing. But yeah, Pipe Player does many. There's many reasons why he's called the Pipe Player. Many reasons. Let's review all action before we put a bow on this. Gerald Jones, best bet UNLV first half -10.5. BJ's best bet, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Raymond Reichard in the house. What up, Raymond? Now, I heard that during the show there was a big move towards the Argonauts, which makes me feel really good for finding the whole line questionable the whole time. Yes, we're back to 3.5s. Wow. Now, did that change the total at all? As we were talking about the unders? No, it didn't. In fact, it's up to 50. Oh, God. Okay. That will take more time, but very, very important information. Then we have Ron Crawford, Major League Baseball spreadsheet play today. San Diego Padres plus 122. Ron Crawford, NHL play today. Carolina Hurricanes. Then I've already moved on the double result and the Elks money line. Now I think it's time to move on the under 51.5. I just don't think these games go over with Trey Ford at quarterback, but I haven't bet that one yet. I'm going to sit with that. Then Roughriders double result. Roughriders money line. I flipped on this one. Of course, strategic investments, my man. So then we go into the Redblacks game. Look, I just can't comprehend how Montreal cares. I can't. And if they can't, I mean, I imagine this is going to come to everybody's attention here. And the whole idea of these shows is for us to find the angle before everybody else. And I'm going to put the Redblacks plus 4.5 in my pocket. I'm going to hope that Drew Brown's at quarterback. I'm going to hope that the Alouettes don't care. There's a lot of hoping in this, but I'm going to bet it. So I'm going to put money on it, and then we'll deal with that shit when we have to. So then in NHL, I can understand why everybody's backing Carolina Hurricanes. I just want to see some interviews, and I'm going to do that right after this show from Lightning players. Are they saying we're playing for our city? Is there anything like that going on? Because if there is, I don't want to be on Carolina. Or are they talking about the devastation and they're worried about their families? I need to see sort of where they are psychologically. I did move on 3 bets. I moved on the over 6 in Blackhawks, Winnipeg, and the over 6 in Philadelphia, Vancouver. These would not be overs that I would bet last year. These would not be overs that I would be on, but things have changed. I think the Blackhawks are going to be an over team, and Samuel Urson and Archer Shilovs in Philadelphia, Vancouver. I'll risk it and take the over. Then I'm on the Golden Knights on the puck line -1.5 at +125. It was 125 at 365. I did bet that during the show, but +123 at Penny. In MLB, Daby Cab on the Padres team total over 3.5. Jose on the Padres team total over 3.5. And Sharpie's on the Dodgers team total under 4.5. Justin McKelvey stacks play today. Bets over 1.5 bases at +114. Jose's on the Guardians at +105. And I've not moved on either of those two baseball games. I took it right in the heart of the khakis last night in my totals, and it's fucking sucks. Dutch Boy Fresh gave us the Terps. Maryland first quarter -3, -120. Sportsman of the Year gave us Utah State first quarter -0.5 at +327. Then Strategic Investments to Chapiadora play today. LSU +3.5 says SEC Revenge. Then Billy Friedrich, Chalky White's college football parlay of the week, all on the money line. UNLV, Georgia Tech, Rutgers, Ohio State, Tennessee, Louisiana, and Minnesota +1,065. Yes, AEOD. No, it's not over today. Today's our last warm day of the year. Last warm day of the year. And I'm like to see what it's like outside. I haven't seen outside in a long time. It is 21 Celsius for you guys at 70 Fahrenheit. So this is our last warm day of the year. So I got my jorts, got black jorts, a blue jorts. What kind of jorts am I going to rock? I don't know. Figure that shit out. Do you know that I wore the same jorts every single day of the 3.5 years I was in Costa Rica?
Color me surprised. I'm not surprised even a little bit.
They and everyone loved it in the office. So then I'm very interested in Utah State team total over. I think I'm going to bet that here as soon as the show's over. Wine time on the under 47 in Utah, Arizona State, and on the Arizona State +6. Ron Crawford also NCAA play today on Arizona State +5.5. And Skunt Blaster is on the Skunt Bag play today, Arizona State money line at +185. And you know what? I didn't get to wear these black jorts till about a week ago because the first day I ever wore them, I puked on them at Pubapalooza 3. At Pubapalooza 3. And then I left that night about 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then I came back at 11 to get my computer and other things.
Sure.
After a nice 5-hour nap. And the jorts just were sitting there with the puke on them for, days. So then gave it to the wife. It took many, many washes, many cycles. It took months to get the puke off of those jorts.
Understandable.
So, there is Kong's Clips cashing the Camel Race, richly deserved. Kong. Get that cash in your bankroll. Just email us, pubsportsradio@gmail.com. Then Daby Cab's on USC, first half +3. Wine Time's on USC +6. So am I. He got -120. I got -122. And Wine Time's on Penn, USC under 51. Wine Time's on West Virginia +3.5, -110. He's on the under 56.5, and Colorado +4 in Kansas State, Colorado. And I plan to move on those as well. But I also like the Kansas State team total under. So I'm going to make some moves there. That is our show for today. That is our show, final show of the weekend. But man, we are rocking. We have a ton of action here. You know what it's like at Pub Sports Radio on Saturdays. It's banging. We have tailgate at 10 a.m. We have our live stream. What is the live stream that we are focusing on here? Gamecocks, Crimson Tide.
Go Cox!
Oh, yeah. Let's keep that to a minimum. And then at night, UFC. You got to check out our Locker Room podcast. It's destroying. What a great job the squad is doing. You got guys like Joe Todaro going for his 7th straight planted flag fighter of the week, and they come on the show and let us know what their planted flag fighter is. I just think it's so dope, and we got to get them here on camera as well. They're doing just a hell of a job. Shout out to them. So that's Saturday night. And then Sunday, 11 a.m. NFL Pub Hub. We have a new leader. Spenny Pennybombs has usurped Birdie on top of the leaderboard. Spenny Pennybombs with just a masterful performance. And he's been doing that on our live streams as well. He got Use check plus 550 for the late touchdown. He had 4 touchdown props, cashed 3 of them. Fucking monster, Mr. Bombs is, who was a big star at Pubapalooza 3.
Yeah, just could not climb fences, a problem that we all have.
The guy gets a little soup in him, and he likes to climb.
And
what's wrong with that?
The most beautiful part about it too is, Jimmy, it's not just him. His sig fig does it with him. You know, they both just get loaded and climb fences. That's a beautiful thing.
Get a little soup in you. You like to climb. What's the harm in that, Jose? Drunken climbing. What could go wrong? I'll tell you, nothing. Nothing could go wrong.
Or Nasty Nate could save you from impending death.
Well, there was an injury. There was an injury.
There was an injury. There was an injury.
There was an injury. We have nothing without you guys. Respect. Thank you. Justin McKelvey. Ayo. Oh, and then, of course, Sunday night, we have our live stream. I'm now 13-5, Jose, in live bets with the squad. That's pretty nice, man. 72.2% hit rate.
Yeah, and you'll be. By the way, you'll be happy to know officially.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be on the Cardinals this week for Cappers contests. I'm going to fucking take all 10 points in the Browns.
Oh wow, I think that's a sharp look, actually. Interesting. Okay, and we have our co-leader right here, Mitch Fearing and Jose Snips Bouquett on top of the leaderboard at 16-9. Shout out to all you guys: Truth Teller, Nasty Nate, Justin McKelvey, AOD, Am I Lying, Mally, Mal, Kelly McInnes, Rem Most, Kong's Clips. Congratulations on your $50 win. Thank you guys. Dab Fen in the house. The pipe layer. He says, yes, sir. Laying the pipe, man. There's many, many, many things. There's lots of reasons why it's the pipe layer.
If you need someone to come fix your pipes, call the pipe layer.
Yeah. Raymond Reichart, Red Girl, Key Game, Outside, Robert Franklin, Strategic Investments, Gerald Jones.
Shout out to Old E that's on a generator and still watching the show. Shout out to you, Old E.
What a guy, Old E. And he says his camel is a piece of desert trash.
Old E?
Yeah.
Well,
it's heartbreaking.
Yeah. If it's not a winner,
Crystal
what can
Craig
you say?
says that her camel got a leg cramp near the end.
It happens to all of us here. It happens to all of us.
Heartbreak. Ryan Kozlowski says he hates his camel. Wow.
That's cruel. By the way, Jimmy, I know you won't care, but this week we were plus 1,200 underdogs, 4v6 sand volleyball that my team of 4 gritted out a gritty 3-set victory against a team of 6, and we were big underdogs, and we went out there and just whooped some ass. So
you're right. I don't care.
Yeah. They started targeting me in the second set because they realized I suck. It was a mental battle we had to play over here.
All right. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us here on Pub Sports Radio. You go out there and get that cash this weekend. Leche! Hey, los bookmakers. Milk that